I definitely do not want other men seeing me in them, I chuckled playfully. Then let us buy them all. Tang Yuxian looked shocked. In the end, Tang Yuxian chose a beautiful two-piece swimsuit. But even so, when Tang Yuxian changed into the swimsuit and walked out of the fitting room, almost everyone in the entire shop cast their gazes over.
On by on.
They gasped in admiration. Tang Yuxian walked up to me with a hint of shyness. Hubby, does it look good? I chuckled playfully. As long as it is worn by my wife.
Anything looks great.
Amidst the crazy jealousy of the surrounding men, Tang Yuxian planted a loud kiss on my cheek, and when I also went into the fitting room, changed, and came out, this time, it was the women's turn to be jealous of Tang Yuxian. My physique could make any man feel ashamed of himself upon seeing it. Tang Yuxian's gaze swept over the surrounding women, who were staring at her husband with looks that practically wanted to eat him alive. Hubby, let us go. My mother-in-law had a tranquil personality, even at the beach. She did not like running around crazily. Therefore, she volunteered to stay by the beach chairs and take care of the 3 babies. The 2 men, my dad and my father-in-law, had already entered the ocean and started swimming. To my surprise, both of them were actually quite good swimmers.
My mime.
On the other hand, was the textbook definition of someone who was bad at something but loved doing it anyway. She clearly did not know how to swim. Yet she was crazy about wanting to play in the water. In the end, she had to get a swimming ring, and with a splash, she dove into the sea. Tang Yuxian and I walked arm in arm on the beach, stepping barefooted on the fine,
Soft sand.
brought a sensation that was incredibly comfortable. Hubby, let us go swimming.
You go ahead.
I will pass.
I do not know how to swim. As if discovering a new continent. Tang Yuxian suddenly widened her eyes. Hubby,
What did you say?
there is actually something you do not know how to do. Hubby, I finally found on thing that my hubby can't do. When I was a kid, I fell into a river and almost drowned. Since then, probably because it left a psychological shadow. No matter how hard I tried, I just could not learn how to swim.
I see.
That is such a pity. I wanted to go play in the ocean with you. Looks like I can only go by myself now. Tang Yuxian and I were playing at the beach. But unexpectedly, we both became targets for people trying to hit on us. Just a moment ago, I was standing on the sand with my arms crossed, watching my wife having a blast in the ocean with a smile on my face. My handsome features, along with a transcendent aura radiating from the inside out, drew the gazes of most people around me. Quite a few youthful and beautiful girls were even looking at me with their hearts pounding wildly. Finally, 2 women mustered up the courage and walked over.
Hey, handsome.
How are you hanging out alone? My gaze swept over the 2 of them. In the eyes of ordinary people, they could both be considered beauties. They also had waterproof makeup on their faces, treating my words like gold. I flatly said, own word. No, the male god is so aloof. The 2 women exchanged a glance and continued their offensive. Handsome, could you take a picture for us? When handing the phone over, Oan even deliberately brushed my hand. Right at that moment, Tang Yuxian suddenly walked over, carrying a dominant, overpowering aura. Tang Yuxian walked up beside me. She swept a cold glare over the 2 streetwalkers before us,
Linked my arm.
and said, Hubby, let us go. Me previously expressionless face instantly melted like an iceberg thawing when I looked at Tang Yuxian. I walked away arm in arm with her, leaving the 2 dumbfounded women standing rooted to the spot. With her back to the 2 of them, Tang Yuxian let out a triumphant himph. What kind of small fry dares to try and snatch my man? Hubby, I have realized I can't leave you alone to go play, especially in a place like the beach. You attract way too many bees and butterflies. You. Who? I reached out and tapped the tip of Tang Yuxian's nose.
Are not you the same?
Who knows how many men were staring at you just now? Tang Yuxian gave a playful giggle. Hehe. Hubby is jealous. Tang Yuxian felt even more secretly delighted in her heart. Then, she planted a loud smooch on my cheek, returning to our sun umbrella, seeing my mother-in-law constantly taking care of the babies. Tang Yuxian and I hurriedly said, Mom, you should go play too. We can watch the babies.
No.
No.
You young people go play. My mother-in-law repeatedly waved her hands, but Tang Yuxian and I kept urging her, so my mother-in-law could only nod with a smile, hand the 3 babies over to us, and then walk toward where my mom, dad, and father-in-law were, lying on the beach lounge chair. Tang Yuxian suddenly turned her head to look at me. Who was teasing the babies? Who? BB. She drew out her words, her tone twisting and turning, sounding so sweet it could make someone's bones melt.
What is it?
So, you want me to help you apply sunscreen? Did not you already put some on before we came out? A massive question mark popped up over Tang Yuxin's head.
What was wrong with this man?
At a time like this,
Should not he?
eagerly lean in and say he would be happy to serve. Tang Yuxin sulked for a moment.
Then she added.
Then hubby, how about your wife applies it for you?
He.
Handsome.
Just let me do it.
I raised an eyebrow. I felt something was wrong.
Extremely. Utterly wrong.
Your husband here does not need to apply that kind of stuff. The 3 babies in the stroller
Watching their fussy mother?
also started babbling along. Third treasure even occasionally mixed in a few mom mass and dadas. Amidst her incomprehensible baby babble, Tang Yuxin stood up with puffed out cheeks. I am going over there to buy some beach barbecue.
Hubby.
What do you want to eat? I will have the same as you.
Bring some back for mom. Dad. And the others too. Got it. Tang Yuxin waved her hand, turned around, and walked toward the beach barbecue stand. Quite a few customers were gathered in front of the barbecue stand. Tang Yuxin did not want to squeeze in with those people at all, so she simply stood on the outside and waited patiently. With her appearance, the people around, both men and women, all cast their gazes over. A man wearing a thick gold chain around his neck walked up.
Hey, beauty.
Hanging out alone, Tang Yuxin did not even spare him a glance, her gaze remaining fixed on the barbecue grill.
She was someone who already had a hubby.
She was not going to pay attention to a man like this. Hey, beauty! We are out here to have fun. Do not be so cold. We are having a party over there later.
Wanna come join us?
This guy is so annoying. Tang Yuxin frowned almost imperceptibly. If she had known, she would have waited until her parents were done playing and came back to watch the kids. So she could have come over here with her husband. Seeing Tang Yuxin, still ignoring him, the man felt his ego take a hit and awkwardly backed away. Just when Tang Yuxin thought this guy would take the hint and back off, he actually went and cut straight to the front of the line. Hey! What is wrong with you? Do you have any manners? Do not cut in line. The man turned back and glared at these people. He was tall and burly, and coupled with his imposing demeanor, he really did manage to intimidate the others. Tang Yuxin swept a cold glare over him but did not say anything. When it was finally her turn, Tang Yuxin bought her beach barbecue. She had not walked far back when that man appeared again, bringing a few other guys with him. Beauty, could you take a picture for us? Get out of my way. This time, Tang Yuxin finally spoke. These guys could not even find a better excuse to hit on someone. Those women from earlier used this exact same trick on her husband. No originality at all. So annoying. Speaking of which, she was just complaining about her husband attracting bees and butterflies earlier, and now it was her turn. It really was taking turns for the couple. Birds of a feather really do flock together. Tang Yuxin felt a wave of helplessness in her heart. Beauty, everyone's just out to have fun. Do not be so. Before the man could finish his sentence, he suddenly felt his neck being gripped from behind. Immediately after, his body began stumbling backward uncontrollably. With a thud, the man bumped into a solid chest. He looked back and was instantly stunned. Without him knowing when, several burly men in suits had suddenly appeared around his group. Owen Man walked up to Tang Yuxin.
Madam.
Were you frightened?
No.
Tang Yuxin said flatly. Tang Yuxin really despised these kinds of people. The group of men were so scared their legs were trembling. Just who had they provoked? Looking at this scene, this woman's background was clearly anything but ordinary. At this moment, I appeared.
As soon as she saw me.
Tang Yuxin immediately dove into my arms. Hubby,
You are here.
I nodded. Then, I turned to look at the guy who had first hit on Tang Yuxin. You said do not be so what just now. Although I was merely looking over calmly, the man and his companions felt as if they were being stared down by some ferocious beast. He clearly realized he had hit a steel plate. The man could only smile awkwardly and submit.
Bro, I was wrong. I was wrong.
I was blind as a bat and bothered my sister-in-law. Please, bro, let me off the hook. Only then did I signal for him to be released.
Then
I pinched Tang Yuxin's nose. I could not see any signs of this girl being scared at all, even though those guys looked very tough to mess with.
Hubby. Is everything okay? Hubby.
You were so handsome just now. I turned my head and cast a warning glance at the group opposite me, being glared at by me. The group hurriedly left, stumbling away while cursing under their breath. Turned back to look at Tang Yuxin. I am fine. Were you really not scared? Because I knew hubby would definitely show up. Here.
Have some barbecue.
Saying that, she brought a skewer right up to my lips. Tang Yuxin looked at me expectantly.
Is it good?
It is good. Of course it is good. Barbecue hand-fed by my wife is definitely going to be delicious. Tang Yuxin took a bite directly from the spot I had just eaten from, and narrowed her eyes in satisfaction.
Suddenly, Hubby!
If you came over here, what about the babies?
Do not worry.
Mom and Dad are watching them. Would not just leave the babies there by themselves. Tang Yushin looked toward the direction of the babies. Sure enough, she saw the two grown men, my dad and my father-in-law, tirelessly teasing the kids. Out in the ocean was my mom, who had completely let loose and was having a blast, along with my mother-in-law, who had been helplessly dragged along by her. Seeing her own mother's expression, Tang Yushin could not help but burst out laughing.
Haha.
The butler standing nearby had his mind shaken by this smile and hurriedly lowered his head. Chairman Xiao's wife was someone whose beauty could outshine the moon and shame the flowers even in ancient times. No wonder she had attracted those blind fools just now.
The next morning,
I was woken up by a feeling of suffocation. When I opened my eyes, I saw a baby hanging onto me.
second treasure.
This little rascal was actually sleeping face down right on my face. I picked up the still soundly sleeping second treasure and gently placed her on the bed. I took a look and could not help but chuckle. Although first treasure and third treasure's sleeping postures were slightly better than second treasure's, they were not much better because there was not a crib in the hotel. The three little ones had to sleep in the same bed with Tang Yuxin and me yesterday. Hubby. Due to my movements, Tang Yuxin woke up groggily, opening a pair of hazy, sleepy eyes. Tang Yushin stretched out her arms toward me.
Hug.
You should sleep a little longer. Tang Yushin and I hugged, and I kissed her forehead.
Satisfied.
Tang Yushin groggily fell back asleep. I got up and finished washing my face and brushing my teeth. When I came out, I saw that the three little ones had already woken up. Although it did not happen every single time,
Most of the time.
the three little angels would wake up simultaneously. It was as if there was some telepathic connection between the triplets. Nowadays, for the babies' solid food, besides baby rice cereal, I had gradually added some mashed potatoes and mashed pumpkin. By the time I had the babies' breakfast prepared, my mom and mother-in-law both walked out of their respective bedrooms at the same time.
Morning.
In-law.
Morning to you too.
Hearing the noise outside, I called out, "Mom, come, help me out a bit." The two women hurriedly came to the kitchen. I pointed at the babies' breakfast. "Mom, this is for the babies." My mom, my mother-in-law, and I returned to the bedroom together. Seeing Tang Yuxin still fast asleep in bed, my mother-in-law walked up and woke her up with a smack. "Still sleeping? Xiao Fei is already up taking care of the babies. And you are still sleeping? How lazy can you get? Only Xiao Fei would spoil you like this." Tang Yuxin pouted, subconsciously wanting to whine.
Mom Tilda.
But upon seeing that my mom was also in the room, she instantly jolted awake, just as she was about to scramble up.
My mom sec my mom sec my soft glow what reflect
All right. In-law. If the child wants to sleep, let her sleep. Wei and Xiao Fei can take care of the babies just fine. You guys really. My mother-in-law shook her head helplessly.
Spoiling this girl so much?
She will become completely unmanageable sooner or later.
No, I won't.
Tang Yushin lay in bed, snickering, secretly. However, she still got out of bed anyway. In the dining room, the three women were each feeding on of the three babies. Meanwhile, was preparing breakfast in the kitchen. "Do you have any plans for today?" I asked after finishing breakfast and bringing it to the dining table. My mother-in-law thought for a moment and said, "Yuxin's dad and his in-law will probably sleep until noon, at least. Old Xiao definitely will. Since that is the case, we will just stay home and watch the babies this morning."
You two young folks go out and have fun.
Tang Yuxin and I exchanged a glance. Although Tang Yuxin lacked nothing and did not need those cosmetics, she could still buy things like lipstick. Besides, the enjoyment of shopping lies in the process itself. In that case, I will have the hotel arrange a yacht for the afternoon, and we can go out to sea to play. How about that?
Yuxin and I will go shopping this morning.
Going out to sea on a yacht. Just imagining the scene.
The three women,
Nodded repeatedly, full of anticipation.
right then and there.
I called Jia Bin, the hotel manager, upon receiving my instructions.
Jia Bin.
Immediately stated that he would absolutely arrange the best yacht, along with the most professional service staff to accompany us. After eating breakfast, Tang Yuxin grabbed her purse and linked her arm with mine.
Hubby.
Let us go check out that place. Tang Yuxin dragged me into a Louis Vuitton store. After entering the store, I discovered that there was actually a facility similar to a boyfriend daycare. Quite a few men were sitting there. Most of them were playing on their phones by themselves, while some were gathered in twos and threes,
Chatting idly.
What? Do you want to go over there too?
Tang Yuchen looked at me out of the corner of her eye.
What?
Are you not allowing it? All right. You accompanied me just now, so I definitely have to accompany you.
Let us go.
As soon as these words were spoken, among the surrounding women who were shopping alone, quite a few looked at Tang Yuxin with envy. Their boyfriends or husbands had run off to sit on the side the moment they walked in. Not at all like the guy right in front of her. Satisfied, Tang Yuchen linked her arm through mine. She did not ask the sales associates to introduce anything either, and simply browsed on her own. Hubby, what do you think of this piece of clothing? You have fair skin to begin with, and this piece perfectly highlights that advantage. Do you want to try it on? So, Tang Yuxin took the piece of clothing and went into the fitting room. The reality was exactly as I had said. This white piece of clothing suited Tang Yuxin perfectly.
This is the own.
Just keep it on.
We will check out together later.
I signaled the sales associate to help Tang Yuxin cut off the tags.
Hubby.
What about this on? This bag is so pretty. I feel like this silk scarf would suit mom perfectly. From time to time, Tang Yuxin would take a liking to something, and no matter what she took a liking to, I would signal the sales associate to wrap it up. Throughout the entire process, I did not ask about the price at all. When we finally checked out, we had actually spent nearly 200,000 in total. I left the hotel address for them to deliver the items to our door. Only then did Tang Yuxin and I, amidst the envious gazes of the crowd, walk out of the boutique. The weather in Sanya is always quite hot, so there were many cold drink shops along the street. Tang Yuxin enthusiastically went and bought 2 ice cream cones. She kept one for herself and handed the other to me. I do not really like these things.
You know that.
Just eat it.
Eat it. This one is seriously super delicious. Tang Yuxin looked at me expectantly. The moment I took a bite, she immediately asked, Not it really good?
Yes.
But it tastes even better when fed by my wife. I looked at Tang Yuxin and gave a playful smile. Tang Yuxin suddenly giggled, took a bite of her own ice cream cone, and then deliberately brought the spot she had just eaten from up to my lips. Here. Hubby. I shot Tang Yuxin an exasperated look, but still took a bite of the ice cream cone my precious wife offered. Perhaps it was a psychological effect, but the one in Tang Yuxin's hand really did taste a bit sweeter. Tang Yuxin. At that moment, a pleasantly surprised voice rang out. Tang Yuxin abruptly turned her head. After a brief moment of stunned surprise, the expression on her face instantly turned into deep delight. Lulu?
Xiantian. It is you guys?
Standing before us were 2 girls around Tang Yuxin's age. The 3 of them quickly huddled together, jumping up and down.
Why are you guys here?
Yuxin, I told you before, I am a tour guide now. Tu Yantian's family lives in Sanya anyway. Just so happens that the tour group I am leading arrived here. I had the afternoon off, so I came to hang out with Tiantian. A tour guide? That is so nice. You get to travel everywhere.
Oh man.
I am jealous of you. Your job is basically playing around.
What do you mean travel everywhere? You have no idea how annoying it is dealing with those people. The 3 girls chattered away like little birds for quite a while. I stood to the side the whole time, waiting patiently. After a while, Tang Yuxin finally walked over to me, linked her arm through mine, and said with a hint of pride, Let me introduce you. This is my husband, Xiao Fei.
Whoa.
What a handsome guy.
Tang Yuxin.
You are dating someone.
Hearing this, the corners of Tang Yuxin's mouth curled up. Not a boyfriend.
My husband.
The father of my children?
Does that make it clear enough? At this, the 2 girls were stunned. Then, their faces filled with excitement. You are married and have kids. It has only been a few years since we last saw each other.
Yuxin.
And you even have kids already? I am so jealous of you. I just broke up with my boyfriend.
As they chatted?
The 2 girls occasionally stole glances at me, although I indeed made their hearts flutter immensely. After all, their good friend's husband. The 2 girls also knew their boundaries, and simply gave a polite greeting. Owen was named Wang Lu. The other Zhang Tiantian.
Hubby. They were all
my roommates when I attended university domestically. Hearing Tang Yuxin say this, suddenly thought of someone else, and that girl we bumped into that day.
What was her name again?
Oh right.
Just like Ming Xueqi.
They were your roommates.
Wang Lu suddenly interjected.
Yuxin.
You ran into that Meng Shueki. I ran into her back in Shanghai. Tang Yuxin carried a hint of mockery on her face. Still the same as always. Let us not talk about her. Just ruins the mood. Zhang Tiantian waved her hand and continued.
Yuxin.
Are you and your husband here on a trip? Our parents are here too, and our babies came along as well. But the babies are being watched by my mom and the others right now. My husband and I came out alone. You are so happy. Zhang Tiantian sighed. It is a rare occasion to run into each other. Let me treat you guys to lunch today. Tang Yuxin and I exchanged a glance. We were just about to discuss how to settle lunch anyway. So, the group of 4 walked toward a Korean BBQ restaurant. On the way, it was rare for her to run into her former roommates, so Tang Yuxin stuck closely to the 2 of them. The 3 women laughed and chatted all the way. I did not mind at all and just followed behind them. The 3 women were talking so much that I could not get a word in edgewise. I could only watch silently.
Yuxin.
Where did you find such a handsome husband? Which direction do I need to pray to every day to find own like him?
Wang Lu leaned close to Tang Yuxin's ear and whispered.
Zhang Tiantian next to them also pricked up her ears. Tang Yuxin slowly recounted the story of how we met. Her happy little mouth was harder to suppress than the recoil of an AK. After listening, the 2 girls looked at each other in dismay. They felt like they were listening to a fairy tale. Even TV dramas would not dare script something like this.
Sure enough.
Movies and TV shows need to follow common sense, while reality does not follow any logic at all. Zhang Tiantian looked back at me. My aura reminded Zhang Tiantian of her own father. That kind of pressure brought about by someone in a high position made Zhang Tiantian start feeling curious about my identity. Her family background was quite good. She frequently accompanied her father to various so-called high society gatherings, and knew quite a few wealthy second-generation heirs. But not a single one of those heirs was like me. Compared to a second-generation heir, I seemed more like a true first-generation entrepreneur, just like Zhang Tiantian's father. But I also had an additional vibe, a feeling that Zhang Tiantian could not quite put into words. First-generation entrepreneurs like her father were either sharply ambitious and overbearing,
or aggressively enterprising,
or possessed the predatory gaze of an eagle or a wolf. Even if some could hide their emotions perfectly, the feeling I gave off was completely different. I exuded an aura of calm detachment and air of not letting anything in the world weigh heavily on my mind.
Suddenly,
A flash of inspiration hit Zhang Tiantian. Could this Xiao Fei actually be a descendant of a prominent,
a light family.
Yuxin.
Confess right now.
this husband of yours, does he have a very deep family background?
Zhang Tiantian pointed upward.
A string of question marks popped up over Tang Yuxin's head. What are you talking about? Your husband just does not look like an ordinary person. Of course he does not. Tang Yuxin proudly lifted her head. My husband is the absolute best. Wang Lu and Zhang Tiantian suddenly felt that the post-marriage Tang Yuxin, compared to when she was still a college student, seemed to have regressed in EQ. Before long, the 4 of them arrived at a Korean BBQ restaurant. While waiting for the food to be served, Wang Lu suddenly asked me,
Handsome.
"What do you do for a living? Watch how you talk." Tang Yuxin let out a slightly dissatisfied himph. That expression looked like she was guarding against a thief. Wang Lu rolled her eyes at Tang Yuxin.
Oh, please.
Considering how close we are, no matter how close we are,
I can't let you have my husband.
am I that kind of person? Wang Lu shook her head back and forth and gave a coquettish humph.
Honestly,
I must have been blind to cover for you back in college. Cover for you. I suddenly narrowed my eyes and looked at Tang Yuxin with a face full of curiosity. Tang Yuxin's expression immediately became a bit panicked. Seeing this,
Wang Lu
suddenly said mischievously, "Handsome.
Ahem.
Mr. Xiao, do you know what kind of bizarre things your precious wife did back in college?" What did I say? You are not allowed to say it. Shut up. Tang Yuxin instantly drooped and lowered her head. This scene left Wang Lu and Zhang Tiantian dumbfounded. But very quickly,
Wang Lu continued.
back in college, although Yuxin was not as beautiful as she is now, she was still incredibly popular. There were quite a lot of guys pursuing her at the time. It made this girl so annoyed and flustered. In the end, she just straight up dragged me in to cover for her, telling everyone that she and I were That finally scared off a lot of the guys. My eyebrow twitched wildly. I stared at Tang Yuxin with a hint of suspicion in my eyes. Hubby, do not tell me you doubt me. Do not you know perfectly well whether I am or not? Tang Yuxin was greatly flustered. Disregarding Wang Lu and Zhang Tiantian, she directly gave me a light headbutt.
All right.
All right.
I believe you, but I can't believe you actually pulled that off, using that kind of thing as a cover. What if you had actually met someone you liked at school later on?
I would not have.
Tang Yushin humphed. I only like you. Hubby. Zhang Tiantian could not help but tap her teacup on the table. Please. I just broke up. Could you two not rub it in? Handsome Xiao. You still have not said what you do for a living. Wang Lu steered the topic back. She was genuinely very curious about my identity. I smiled faintly. I am still a student. We already know that. Yuxin already told us your story, but you are definitely not just a student. Right? Your aura is not something a mere student could possess. I just smiled and did not say anything. Seeing this, Wang Lu and Zhang Tiantian did not press the matter further. Asking any further would be tactless. Before long, the waiter brought the barbecue meat over and started grilling it for the four of us. When the savory aroma of the barbecue drifted over, Wang Lu and Zhang Tiantian immediately started digging in heartily. It was just that very quickly. They noticed that Tang Yuxin and I were eating incredibly delicately, especially Tang Yuxin.
Yuxin.
You have changed your tune. Back when we used to get skewers together, you were always the most uninhibited on. Okay, I was not. Tang Yuxin felt that if they kept chatting, all her embarrassing past deeds would be exposed to her husband. I just prefer eating the food my husband makes. Handsome Xiao even knows how to cook. Men who can cook are rare these days, and a man with an unusual status like him cooking is even rarer. He is the one who cooks at home normally. Tang Yuxin's eyes were filled with happiness, as if saying, quick, praise me for finding such a good husband. Zhang Tiantian and Wang Lu started feeling sour again. This PDA was enough to stuff them full. I should not have treated you to lunch. Zhang Tiantian mumbled indistinctly. Tang Yuxin hurriedly smiled apologetically. All right. All right. As compensation, we are taking a yacht out to sea to play this afternoon. You guys come along? After saying that, Tang Yuxin turned to look at me. I nodded. If Tang Yuxin wanted to bring her two friends along, I naturally would not have any objections. Yacht. I have not been on own before. Wang Lu's excitement instantly surged. Zhang Tiantian, on the other hand, was relatively calm. Her family was quite wealthy, and she also went out on yachts from time to time. Hearing this, she was not overly thrilled. After finishing lunch, directly made a call to that driver. I sat in the passenger seat, while the three women sat in the back. Zhang Tiantian looked at my silhouette in the passenger seat. With a gaze that carried a hint of deep meaning, she could tell from the uniform the driver was wearing that the other party was a staff member of the Wansheng Hotel. Someone who could have Wansheng arrange a dedicated driver to drive a Bentley and be on standby at all times could not possibly be an ordinary person. An ordinary person would not be able to afford it either. This made Zhang Tiantian even more convinced that my background was extraordinary. When Tang Yuxin and I arrived at the villa with the two of them, as soon as we entered the door, I heard a burst of crying. Did second treasure cry? Just from the sound of the crying alone, I could determine that the on making a fuss was definitely second treasure. I quickly walked inside and took second treasure from my mom's arms. Oh, you are finally back. Second treasure was being held by your dad just now, and that old geezer straight up used his beard to prick second treasure's face. How could a little baby handle that? So she cried. My dad sat awkwardly on the sofa, constantly looking at second treasure. After all, he was the one who made the baby cry, so he felt a bit guilty. It is fine. Dad was just trying to play with the baby. I held second treasure and gently coaxed her. It did not take long for second treasure to gradually stop crying. Mom. Dad. These two are my classmates, Wang Lu and Zhang Tiantian. They are going out to sea to play with us this afternoon. Hello. Uncle.
Hello.
Auntie? The two of them politely greeted the four elders in the house. Tang Yuxin introduced them to Wang Lu and Zhang Tiantian on Bion. These two are my mom and dad, and these two are my father-in-law and mother-in-law. Mother-in-law! Looking at my mom's face, which looked like a woman in her 30s, Wang Lu and Zhang Tiantian were dying of envy. How was this a mother-in-law? If someone said she was an older sister, people would believe it.
All right. Mom.
Dad. Let us all get ready. Let us head out to sea. Vanilla. I called out again. The little cat, Vanilla, squeezed out from who knows where, circled around my feet once, and rubbed her head against my pant leg. What a cute kitty. Zhang Tiantian was a crazy cat lover. Soon as she saw Vanilla, she immediately crouched down wanting to play with her, but with a whoosh, Vanilla darted over to Tang Yuxin's side, putting on a stranger's keep-away demeanor.
Yuxin.
Quick. Let me hug this kitty. I love her so much. This cat seems a bit shy around strangers. Tang Yuxin crouched down and stroked Vanilla's back. Vanilla. These are my friends.
Let them hug you.
Okay. Vanilla was a bit hesitant. After a while, she still obediently walked over to Zhang Tiantian and let out a soft meow. Zhang Tiantian's heart melted instantly. She scooped Vanilla up into her arms, a satisfied smile blooming on her face. Not long after, a series of knocks sounded at the main door of the villa. After Tang Yuxin walked over and opened the door, Jia Bin, who was standing at the door, saw it was Tang Yuxin and immediately bowed in greeting.
Hello.
Mrs.
Xiao.
Has your vacation these past 2 days been pleasant?
Thank you.
I have had a wonderful time. Tang Yuxin gave a polite smile and stepped aside to let him pass. Only then did Jia Bin walk in. Uncle Jia. Upon seeing Jia Bin, Zhang Tiantian immediately called out. Hearing Zhang Tiantian call him,
Jia Bin
turned his head to look, finding that it was Zhang Tiantian. He was somewhat surprised.
Tianqian.
Why are you here?
Just hanging out. Uncle Jia. Yuxin and I are classmates. Jia Bin's expression changed slightly.
Zhang Tiantian was actually classmates with Mrs.
Xiao.
It seemed that from now on, business dealings with the Zhang family would require a bit more careful attention. Having quickly made a decision in his heart, Jia Bin walked briskly up to me. Mr. Xiao, the yacht has been prepared for you. We can depart whenever you are ready.
Very good.
Who was holding second treasure, nodded slightly.
Mom. Dad.
Let us go.
Let us go. Let us go.
I have been ready for ages.
I am going to enjoy this time too. My dad and father-in-law were full of interest regarding the upcoming yacht trip. Hearing this, they immediately got ready to head out. Jia Bin specifically arranged for 2 cars to handle the transportation. The 4 adults took own car, while our group of young people took the other. The 3 babies were held by my mom and the others, while Vanilla rested comfortably in Tang Yuxin's arms, sitting in the back seat and looking at Jia Bin, who was actually acting as my personal driver. Zhang Tiantian became even more curious about my identity. The general manager of the Wansheng Group's largest hotel in Sanya in the southern region. Jia Bin possessed considerable prestige among the local upper-class circles. Even her own father had to greet Jia Bin politely when they met. She never expected that Jia Bin would now be directly acting as my driver. Did not that mean her father, in front of Xiaofei, was also nothing more than the level of a dedicated driver? She cast a secret glance at Tang Yuxin. This former good friend of hers had truly soared to the highest heights. Although she thought this in her heart, Zhang Tiantian's face showed no change in expression. Back when Tang Yuxin was still just an ordinary person, she,
Zhang Tiantian,
was able to become her best friend. She also believed that after Tang Yuxin married into a wealthy family, Tang Yuxin would treat her with the same sincerity she had shown her back then. Before long, the group arrived at the pier. Looking at the massive yacht docked by the pier, even Zhang Tiantian was somewhat surprised. It was not that she had not been out to sea on a yacht before, but she had truly rarely been on a yacht over 50 meters long. Mr. Xiao, considering that the number of people in your party is not large, only prepared a yacht of this size.
It is just the right fit.
Any larger, and the yacht would feel too empty.
Very good.
I nodded in satisfaction. The yacht before our eyes was over 50 meters long. The structure on the deck alone had 3 levels, not to mention how much space there was below deck. In reality, for just the few of us, this yacht was already a bit too big. But if it were any smaller, Jia Bin would have considered it highly inappropriate. Even with this current 50+ meter long yacht, Jia Bin still felt a bit apprehensive. It was not until he saw me nod with a smile on my face that Jia Bin finally breathed a sigh of relief.
We are getting on the boat.
We are getting on the boat. First treasure. We are getting on the boat.
My mom.
Holding first treasure.
Was the first to run up. My dad followed behind her, scolding,
Slow down.
careful not to drop the baby. As soon as they got on the boat, Tang Yuxin and Wang Lu started exploring everywhere. Even Zhang Tianqian followed them around enthusiastically. The entire yacht was fully equipped with a kitchen, dining room, bedrooms, and more. At the stern, there was a platform for deep-sea fishing. There was even a swimming pool on the top deck. The yacht was also equipped with jet skis. I took second treasure from my mother-in-law's arms.
Second treasure.
Daddy is taking you out to sea.
Are you happy?
Guya. Second treasure nestled in my arms. Waving her little hands, I walked over to the edge of the deck. Second treasure carefully peeked at the ocean. And then, feeling scared, buried her head into my chest. Second treasure is too timid. My mom watched from the side, highly amused.
Look at first treasure.
He is not scared at all. Saying that, my mom actually held first treasure and extended him out over the railing. First treasure did not react at all. However,
was given a fright.
My mom always did some shocking things from time to time. My dad, who happened to be walking over, gasped sharply. He rushed over to my mom in 3 quick steps, snatched first treasure away, and held him tight.
What are you doing?
You are fooling around and dragging the baby into it too.
What if you dropped him?
I hold babies much steadier than you do, my mom muttered.
Unconvinced.
But she also knew her actions just now were somewhat inappropriate.
All right, Dad.
Mom did not do it on purpose. I'm taking the babies back inside the cabin.
Once we are out at sea,
The wind and waves will be strong. The babies might not be able to handle it.
Yuxin.
You are really living the dream now. Wang Lu looked at Tang Yuxin with a face full of envy.
my good sister.
You can't forget about me now that you have struck it rich.
You silly. I won't forget.
Tang Yuxin said with a smile, letting Wang Lu cling to her arm, who happened to walk in at that moment.
Saw this scene.
And my eyebrow could not help but twitch again. My wife, usually, very rarely got this close to anyone else. I could not help but think back to what I heard during lunch. Back in college, Tang Yuxin dragged Wang Lu in, using the excuse that the two of them were together, to reject her suitors. Hubby,
You are here.
seeing me walk in, Tang Yuxin gave me a sweet smile. The wind is strong out at sea, so I brought the babies inside. I placed second treasure on the sofa. Then, from my mother-in-law and father-in-law who had followed me in, I took first treasure and third treasure, and placed them side by side on either side of second treasure. The 3 little ones lay in a row, each of them with their big, round eyes wide open, looking at their daddy, who was right in front of them. Da, 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 da.
Third treasure kept babbling.
Yuxin. Your babies are so cute.
Zhang Tiantian also leaned over to tease the babies, a look of envy on her face. Tang Yuxin saw how much she liked them. You like them? Go find someone and have own yourself. Get out of here. Zhang Tiantian playfully scolded her. Then, she asked with intense curiosity,
Yuxin.
what does giving birth actually feel like? Does it hurt super badly? Tang Yuxin recalled the situation when she gave birth and let out a faint sigh. Back then, she was all alone in the maternity and child health hospital. Neither I, nor her parents, nor any relatives were by her side. Fortunately, those difficult days were finally over. Tang Yuxin walked up to me and smiled at Zhang Tiantian. When you are giving birth to the child of the person you love, you won't feel the pain. I do not believe you for a second. Zhang Tiantian immediately bared her teeth and made a funny face.
Yuxin.
If you keep showing off your PDA like this,
Our friendship is over.
seeing this, Wang Lu quickly changed the subject. I saw jet skis just now. Can we ride them?
Are you sure?
Zhang Tiantian.
As a rich girl who frequently went out to sea, immediately looked over with a skeptical eye. Driving a jet ski requires professional training. Do you know how? I do not know how. Wang Lu smiled embarrassedly. A classic case of being bad at something but loving to play anyway.
I said.
The crew members assigned to the boat should know how.
I will go ask them.
After finding a crew member, I explained the situation to her. The crew member smiled and said, I am very sorry.
If you are not professionals.
For your safety.
We do not recommend that you drive them yourselves, but we can drive them and you can ride along.
Hubby. I want to go too.
When Tang Yuxin saw the jet skis, her eyes were sparkling. She had been itching to try for a while now. All right, but pay attention to safety. Be careful. Okay. Tang Yuxin planted a loud smooch on my cheek,
Zhang Tiantian.
standing to the side.
Stretched her arms.
I will go too. But I do not need a driver. I know how to drive on myself, sitting in the passenger seat and tightly gripping the handles. Tang Yuxin was nervous at first and kept her eyes shut tight, but after getting used to it, she grew bolder and bolder, gripping the handle with own hand. Tang Yuxin turned to look at me on the deck, waving her arm.
Hubby.
This is so fun.
Come join us. I smiled and walked toward the stern of the boat. I really could not say no to this wife of mine. Mr. Xiao, do you need me to drive for you? A beautiful female crew member following beside me asked expectantly. No need. I know how. Are you kidding me? The system rewarded me with omni-vehicle driving mastery. I was confident I could even fly a space shuttle. How could a tiny little jet ski stump me? Before long, I, having changed into my swim trunks, appeared on the ocean, driving a jet ski solo, carving a massive arc. The jet ski, churning up waves, appeared right beside Tang Yuxin. Hubby, you actually know how to drive this. Tang Yuxin's eyes were full of little stars. Her husband was truly too amazing. He knew how to do everything. If I said I was Superman right now, Tang Yuxin would probably believe it.
Hubby.
I want to ride on your jet ski.
I want you to give me a ride.
All right.
I had Tang Yuxian get onto my jet ski. Unlike sitting behind the female crew member, this time Tang Yuxian pressed tightly against my back, hugging my waist tightly. Hubby. Go. 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 Tian has already driven way up ahead. Hurry up and catch her. Hold on tight. Feeling playful, I throttled the jet ski, letting out a roar, and sped rapidly forward.
Wah ha ha ha.
So fast. So fast. Hubby is so awesome.
Charge.
Charge. Cyclone charge. On the deck, my dad, watching the young people having fun, also got an itch to try. However, as soon as he brought it up, my mom immediately started twisting his ear. What do you think you're doing? Do not tell me you also want some young girl to take you flying across the ocean. And do not even try telling me you know how to drive that thing.
Ow.
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 It hurts. Wife. I won't go.
All right.
My dad begged for mercy repeatedly. Next to them, my father-in-law and mother-in-law burst out laughing. Tang Yuxian, worried I would think she was a brother-supporting demon, resolutely refused her aunt's request. Just now, having returned to the yacht, I was holding First Treasure and sitting with my mother-in-law, chatting with her to keep her company.
We were chatting.
My mother-in-law's phone suddenly rang,
She took it out to look.
and her brows slightly furrowed.
What is wrong? Mom.
I asked with a puzzled look. Rarely saw my mother-in-law wear this expression. Most likely, something had happened. It is nothing. My mother-in-law directly hung up the phone, but a moment later, the phone rang again, left with no choice. My mom, my mom, my mom, my 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 lick mo Coincidentally,
Right at this moment,
Tang Yuxian walked in. I waved Tang Yuxian over.
What is up?
Hubby. Tang Yuxian circled around to my side and planted a loud smooch right on my cheek. Then she asked with a smile, "Is something the matter?
hubby.
Or mom seems to have something on her mind." I gestured toward the direction my mother-in-law had left. Tang Yuxian blinked her eyes and then said,
I will go check.
Stepping out of the cabin, Tang Yuxian spotted from afar her mother standing on the deck, talking on the phone. After approaching a few steps, Tang Yuxian heard her mother saying,
Sis.
"It is not that
Your older sister?
do not want to help you. It is just that this kind of thing is really hard to handle." While later, her mother hung up the phone. Tang Yuxian walked up beside her and asked softly, "Mom."
What is wrong?
Her mother sighed. "Do you still remember your aunt? About you and Xiao Fei being together? I have already informed the relatives on my side of the family. After all, When you two officially hold the wedding banquet, they will have to come too. Therefore, Tang Yuxin vaguely guessed something and was now just waiting for her own mother to confirm it. Her mother's brows furrowed. Your aunt found out that you are living very well now and that Xiao Fei is a capable man. So, she hopes you two can arrange a job for her son, your cousin, in Shanghai. But do not worry, I have already rejected this request. Her mother hurriedly added, deeply afraid of causing a misunderstanding with her daughter.
Hearing this,
Tang Yuxin also felt a bit distressed. Her aunt's son was indeed a close relative.
True.
But she absolutely did not want to bother me with this kind of thing. Her mother felt the same way. She only wanted her daughter and son-in-law to live their days in peace and harmony. She was not willing to use matters from her side of the family to trouble her daughter and Xiao Fei. When I saw Tang Yuxin walk back in, immediately asked,
What is wrong?
Nothing.
Tang Yuxin stammered. She clearly had something on her mind, but she did not want to trouble me. I raised an eyebrow.
Though not you know?
When you lie, your eyes dart around, and the tip of your left foot subconsciously draws circles on the ground. Tang Yuxin froze, then looked down at her own toes.
Sure enough.
She was drawing circles back and forth.
Hubby.
You are so observant. Enough with the flattery. What difficulties did our mom run into? Tell me, with our relationship, is there anything we can't talk about? Seeing that she could not hide it, Tang Yuxin had no choice but to sit down beside me.
She first asked.
Hubby, if I tell you, please do not take it to heart.
Okay.
We are husband and wife. And besides,
That is our mom.
if there is an issue, we solve it together. Do not tell me you do not believe in your husband's capabilities. I pinched Tang Yuxin's nose. Only then did Tang Yuxin sigh faintly and say, my aunt's son hopes we can arrange a job for him in Shanghai, but I did not want to trouble you. So I had it rejected. I thought it was something major. That is it. Immediately started laughing. Whether it is when a man attains the Tao, even his poultry and dogs ascend to heaven, or taking care of family members after striking it rich, as long as the other party is not insatiably greedy. It is just human nature. At this point, I happened to see my mother-in-law walking in as well.
Mom,
Yuxin told me everything.
With this kind of thing, could not you have just told me directly? How could I trouble you with this?
Xiao Fei.
You are still in school, and Yuxin has not been working for long.
This kind of thing?
I patiently listened to my mother-in-law finish speaking, and then asked with a smile, could you tell me a bit about the specific situation of Yuxin's cousin? I am not entirely sure either. My mother-in-law recalled what her younger sister had told her. I only heard Yuxin's aunt say that the boy stayed in Shanghai after graduating from college. He originally wanted to start his own business, but it seems he got scammed. Now he is working odd jobs everywhere to pay off debts. That kid is stubborn too. He kept it a secret from the family for a long time without saying a word.
Later.
When he really could not hide it anymore, he finally told the family about it.
I see.
I nodded. If all these things were true, then Tang Yuxin's cousin was someone with backbone. Otherwise, he would not have shouldered all of this by himself. Suddenly felt a bit of interest in him. Would not hurt to meet him. If he was a decent guy, helping him out would not be an issue. According to my mother-in-law, Tang Yuxin's cousin right now seemed to be working at a courier company in Shanghai, while simultaneously delivering takeout. He was working over 10 hours a day. Hearing this introduction, my impression of this cousin was not bad. I could determine that, at the very least, he was not a lazy bum who only knew how to eat, and he had a sufficient sense of responsibility. How about this? Mom, contact them over there and tell them that after we return to Shanghai,
I will meet with him.
we will see how things are before deciding the next steps.
Won't this be too much trouble for you?
My mother-in-law still looked at me with a bit of worry. She was afraid that if this was not handled well, it would affect the relationship between Yuxin and me. It is no trouble.
Mom.
We are all family.
If I can help?
I will do my best to help. We will see how the situation is when the time comes.
Hearing this,
My mother-in-law nodded with a smile and walked out of the cabin again to call her younger sister. After my mother-in-law left, I lightly tapped Tang Yuxin on the head. From now on,
You are not allowed to keep this kind of thing from me.
understand. Understood. Tang Yuxin curled her tongue and replied in a sickeningly sweet voice. Hubby, how can you be so good to me?
Sigh.
I am really scared of you being snatched away by someone else.
hubby,
What was this girl letting her imagination run wild about? Was I someone who could be casually snatched away? Not to mention my feelings for Tang Yuxin were true and sincere. Furthermore,
Why was the father of 3 babies?
I definitely had a strong sense of responsibility. After dinner, before the sun completely disappeared, the yacht returned to the pier. Yuxin, handsome Xiao, and uncle and auntie, thank you so much for your hospitality today. Before parting, Zhang Tiantian and Wang Lu politely bid farewell to everyone. Wang Lu let out a sigh. After today's free time ends, I have to take the tour group and fly back tomorrow. I do not know when I will be able to see you guys next. You can come to Shanghai to visit me, Tang Yuxian said to Wang Lu with a beaming smile.
Wang Lu just shook her head.
It is really hard. The tour groups I lead usually go to various scenic spots. Very few tour groups go to a metropolis like Shanghai, but you must have days off.
Right.
Tang Yuxian pouted, having finally reunited with Wang Lu, only to part again. She was quite reluctant. Wang Lu thought about it and agreed. All right. When I have some time off, I will come to Shanghai to visit you. By the way, if you have any outstanding cute guys around you, I do not ask for them to be just like your husband. Even own tenth as good would do. If you have that kind of resource,
Remember to save on for me.
All right.
I will keep an eye out for you.
Tang Yuxian rolled her eyes at Wang Lu in exasperation. But when it came to her best friend's lifelong happiness, she would definitely take it to heart. That night, when Zhang Tiantian returned home, soon as she walked through the door,
She saw her father.
triumphantly waving an invitation card. What are you doing, Dad?
Why so happy?
Zhang Tiantian looked deeply puzzled. She rarely saw her dad this happy on a normal day.
Ha ha ha. Tiantian.
You are back. Father Zhang happily slapped the table.
Stiantian.
Today, I received an invitation from manager Jai of the Wansheng Hotel to attend a gala being held there in 3 days. Zhang Tiantian was somewhat surprised. With her father's status, although he could attend Wansheng Hotel's business banquets, he definitely was not at the level where Jia Bin would personally deliver the invitation. For this kind of business cocktail party, receiving an invitation was own thing. Not needing an invitation, but being qualified to go directly was another. Thinking of this, Zhang Tiantian suddenly said, Dad, there is something today that I think I need to tell you.
Right then.
Zhang Tiantian recounted the events of the day to her father in full detail. After hearing it, Father Zhang finally saw the light. No wonder. I was wondering why manager Jia suddenly personally brought the invitation to me. I was even feeling overwhelmed by the favor for a while. Looking at the invitation on the table, Father Zhang kept shaking his head. Turns out, your dad, am riding on your coattails. My daughter.
Oh, right.
Stiantian.
Your classmate. Could you invite her to our house as a guest tomorrow?
What are you thinking?
Dad.
Zhang Tiantian glared at her father rather unceremoniously. Yuxin and I are true, genuine friends. I absolutely do not want our relationship to be mixed with any messy,
Ulterior motives.
Being reprimanded by Zhang Tiantian like this.
Father Zhang smiled awkwardly.
All right.
All right. All right. Genuine friends. Genuine friends. Seeing her father drop the idea, Zhang Tiantian gave a cute humph,
Stood up.
and returned to the second floor of the villa, retreating into her own room. At this time, Mother Zhang finally walked over and sat down beside her husband. You really need to stop letting those business world habits spill over everywhere. For young people making friends, it is much better without all those messy ulterior motives.
My me mistake.
Father Zhang leaned back on the sofa and sighed faintly.
Sigh.
When a person stays in the business world for too long, it is inevitable to view all relationships through the lens of profit.
Why do you work so tirelessly anyway?
Our family is not lacking money now. Would not it be nice to spend the rest of our lives peacefully and quietly? Upon seeing the white hairs on Father Zhang's head,
Mother Zhang
felt a pang of heartache. Some things can't be stopped just because you want to. Father Zhang shook his head helplessly. Having reached this point, there are hundreds of mouths below me, waiting for me to issue their paychecks so they can eat. I could just wash my hands of it and quit. But those employees can't do that. You are just destined for a life of toil. Mother Zhang humphed, and then began to massage his back tenderly.
Zhang Tiantian,
Who had walked out of her bedroom heading to the kitchen for a snack, saw this sweet scene between her parents in the living room, and the corners of her mouth twitched. Being force-fed Tang Yuxin and my PDA during the day was not enough. Now that she was home, she actually had to eat her parents' PDA too. Zhang Tiantian felt she had suffered massive emotional damage. She thought to herself, should I find a boyfriend too? But the moment this thought arose, Zhang Tiantian ran through all the men her age that she knew, in her head. Then, she despondently realized that after meeting me, these men, who she used to find somewhat passable, were now completely unappealing to her. Right then, Zhang Tiantian directly took out her phone and sent a message to Tang Yuxin. Yuxin, you have to take responsibility for my future. On the other side,
Tang Yuxin,
who was watching a mini-drama, looked at the message on her phone, and a string of question marks popped up over her head. With 2 days left in the May Day long holiday, Tang Yuxin and I returned to Shanghai.
oh, right.
hubby.
I was thinking, if There is nothing else going on. We should invite my cousin over tomorrow. It would be good to get this matter settled before you have to go back to work, school. The next day, when I met Tang Yuxin's cousin, something totally unexpected happened to me. Hubby, my cousin is here.
Oh.
I put down the book in my hand and smiled.
All right.
You go let him in.
I will take the babies back inside. By the time I had carried the 3 babies back to the play area in the living room and instructed Vanilla to keep a close eye on them, Tang Yuxin had returned with her cousin.
Hello, sis.
Hello.
Brother-in-law, the tall boy walking in behind Tang Yuxin, appeared very nervous. Seeing this older cousin of his once again, the boy simply could not believe his eyes. Although his cousin was beautiful in his memory, she was never like this, looking like a fairy descended from heaven. And after entering the villa, looking at the luxurious palace-like decorations inside, he appeared even more constrained and awkward, deeply afraid of breaking something. Do not be nervous.
Have a seat.
I gestured for him to sit down next to me.
What is your name?
Sitting beside me?
The boy lowered his head and said, Brother-in-law.
My name is Guo Yong.
I am Xiaofei.
Even though you are calling me brother-in-law, in reality, I am probably a few years younger than you.
Guo Yong had,
After all, already graduated from college and been an entrepreneur for a year.
I.
On the other hand, was still just a junior in college.
I know.
looking at me?
Guo Yong could not help but sigh inwardly. This brother-in-law, who was slightly younger than him, did not look like an ordinary person no matter how you looked at it.
At this time?
Tang Yuxin served tea for both Guo Yong and me. Just treat this place like your own home. No need to be nervous.
Thank you, sis.
Guo Yong was still a bit tense. Tell me about your specific situation. I heard your business failed after graduation.
And that you were scammed.
Yes.
Guo Yong sighed. I majored in software engineering in college. I made some things myself and sold them. So, by the time I graduated, I had nearly 400,000 in savings. Hearing this, I slightly raised an eyebrow. It seemed this Guo Yong was actually a talented individual. After graduating, I took that money and started a company with a classmate because we were classmates. When drawing up the contract, I did not pay close attention. As a result, it was only after he absconded with the funds that I discovered there were severe loopholes in the contract. The company went bankrupt, and I was left with nearly $1 million in debt. After briefly explaining the situation, Guo Yong began to explain in detail. Perhaps worried that Tang Yuxin and I would think he was lying, he pulled out a lot of evidence, including the contract. I took a general look and made a decision in my heart. I also sized Guo Yong up, working odd jobs to pay off debts. Guo Yong clearly had not been resting well lately. He had thick, dark circles under his eyes, and he looked extremely haggard.
What are your plans for the future?
I did not rush to say I would help, but instead asked for his thoughts. Guo Yong nodded.
I have a plan.
Brother-in-law, I actually have a half-developed project on hand. It is just that, after the company collapsed, development was halted. My current plan is to work and earn money and rely on myself to perfect this software bit by bit. Then I will find a buyer and sell it for a good price.
As long as I can sell it.
We will be able to pay off my debts.
And then I can start from scratch again. What about the guy who absconded with the funds? Have not you thought about recovering the money? Tang Yuxin asked. It is no use. Guo Yong shook his head helplessly. I did not notice the loopholes in the contract myself in the beginning. You can't win a lawsuit over this kind of thing. Several lawyers told me I just have to accept my bad luck. I nodded. Could you tell me about that software of yours?
Hearing me bring this up,
Guo Yong instantly perked up. Clearly, when someone mentioned his area of expertise, he was the kind of person who would immediately become highly energized. This showed that Guo Yong was full of confidence when it came to his professional skills. Regarding this, if you are interested, brother-in-law, I can tell you about it in detail. First, picking up the teacup from the coffee table, he took a sip of clear tea to moisten his throat. Only then did Guo Yong speak slowly. What I have been developing is actually a browser that can be used on both PC and mobile. Brother-in-law, do not think a browser is simple. In fact, this is a browser that integrates a search engine I developed myself. You developed a search engine yourself. Now I was genuinely interested.
A search engine
was not something just anyone could throw together casually. It required a highly complex and sophisticated set of algorithms. Otherwise, a shoddily made search engine would only give users an incredibly frustrating experience. Currently, the search engines on the market, leaving aside the foreign ones, domestically, Qiandu already held a monopoly. Although there were other search engines, they clearly could not compete with Qiandu. Since you put it that way, does this search engine of yours have any special features? Otherwise, you would not be so confident about it.
Right.
Of course. Guo Yong proudly raised his chin. My search engine. In terms of search algorithms, I am confident it is absolutely no worse than Qiandu. Most importantly, it completely eliminates ads, and it does not do things like paid search rankings. If that is the case, it really does have the potential to compete with Qiandu, but without paid rankings.
How do you plan to monetize it?
Guo Yong embarrassedly scratched the back of his head. Brother-in-law, please do not laugh at me when I say this. Actually, I was very ambitious in the beginning. I planned to use this browser, which integrates a search engine offering a better search experience than Qiandu, and has zero ads, as a core platform to step-by-step expand into a complete ecological chain. I was amused by Guo Yong.
You do not lack ambition.
I finally understood. Guo Yong creating this search engine was just an entry point to expand his own product ecosystem. Tang Yuqin beside me, although not a professional in this field, was, after all, a talented returnee who had studied abroad in Munich. She could more or less understand the gist of it.
Hearing this,
Tang Yuqin covered her mouth and chuckled. You have not even learned how to walk yet, and you are already thinking about running a marathon. Looking at the gracefully smiling,
charming Tang Yuqin,
Guo Yong was momentarily dazed, but he quickly recovered and continued. I also know I am aiming a bit too high right now, but this is truly what I am aiming for deep down.
Oh, right?
Brother-in-law, although this browser is still a half-finished product, some features are barely usable. You want to give it a try?
Let me see.
I was instantly intrigued.
Wife.
This cousin of yours is very likely a true talent. Guo Yong took out his phone. Then, he suddenly looked embarrassed.
His phone
Was actually an old-fashioned model that practically only the elderly would use. Not a smartphone at all. My old phone. I sold it second-hand after that bastard ran off with the money. After all, I am really short on cash right now. But brother-in-law, do you have a computer here? I backed up the software to my email. I can use an emulator on the computer to simulate the mobile experience.
For the PC version.
I have not developed it yet.
I do.
I quickly brought out my own laptop and handed it to Guo Yong. Guo Yong immediately logged into his email, downloaded the backed up software, installed an emulator on the computer, and began demonstrating it to me. I personally tried it out as well, and found that the user experience was genuinely quite good. It was just that sometimes, the search results would still deviate somewhat from what I wanted. The algorithm still needs refinement, mainly because I simply have not had much free time lately. I smiled, sat back down beside Tang Yuqin, thought for a moment, and said, exactly how much debt are you in right now? Over 1.4 million.
Guo Yong said,
Looking a bit embarrassed. All right then. I can give you 5 million directly. Guo Yong's eyes widened sharply, staring at me in disbelief. Do not get happy just yet.
You take this 5 million.
Pay off your debts, and use the remaining money to establish a new company.
As the investor?
I will take a 70% stake, and the remaining 30% goes to you. I won't interfere with anything after that. You focus on using your skills to perfect this product.
Or hire people. Whatever works.
If you run out of money, I can continue adding investment, but there is a prerequisite. This product of yours, I need to see actual results. A search engine definitely could not be developed with just 5 million, at least currently, under normal circumstances. It was absolutely impossible. Otherwise, Qiandu would not be investing so much money every year to continue refining its own search engine algorithms. However, it had to be said, Guo Yong was truly a rare talent. To think he alone could take this search engine integrated browser and refine it to the point of being barely usable. This made me look at him in a new light. In my opinion, even without me, Guo Yong would definitely have his day of success in the future.
for company management.
Given your current situation, we will directly arrange for people to handle the daily operations. In other words, you only need to be responsible for the technical side. After I finished speaking, Guo Yong finally stuttered and asked, Brother-in-law, is this real? R.A.? Not you afraid I am scamming you? Even now, he was still in disbelief. Would you?
I stared at Guo Yong.
It is real.
What is your bank card number?
I can transfer the money to you right now. Guo Yong looked straight into my eyes. After a long while, he shook his head firmly. Brother-in-law, thank you for your help. I definitely won't let you and sis down. After saying this, Guo Yong gave a relieved smile. Actually, letting me focus on technology is for the best. I was never good at scheming against people in business management anyway. Otherwise, I would not have been scammed. That is good then. I clapped my hands. Stay for dinner today. We will discuss the details further. I will have someone prepare the contract in the meantime, after dinner tonight.
You look over the contract.
And if there are no problems,
We will sign.
Once signed,
The money will be in your account tomorrow.
Sitting beside me,
Guo-young.
at this moment, was practically glowing, filled with fighting spirit. Please believe in me, brother-in-law, in the future.
On this internet,
We will definitely carve out our own territory. Asterisk, when mountains and rivers seem to end, bringing doubt of a way forward. Asterisk, shadowy willows and bright flowers reveal another village. Guo-young could never have imagined that simply by coming to see his older cousin once, not only would the over-own million in debt he carried be completely resolved, but his future entrepreneurial plans would also be secured.
That night,
Guo-young had dinner at Tang Yushin's and my house. Afterward, he signed the contract with me.
The next day,
After the 5 million I promised arrived in his account, Guo-young immediately contacted his creditors, cleared all his debts, and then non-stop began the work of establishing the new company. And on my end, just as I had said, would arrange for professional operations and management talent to help him.
as a shareholder of JPMorgan Chase,
Especially the largest shareholder of JPMorgan Chase in the Yangtze region, me influence in the capital market was far greater than many people imagined. With practically just on phone call, it was not long before several professionals connected with Guo-young. I did not involve myself in the matters after that. I resumed my daily routine of focusing on taking care of the babies at home. It had been a while since I last received a call from a classmate, class rep.
what made you think of calling me all of a sudden?
The hearty laughter of our class representative
You.
came through the phone.
Well,
Is not the summer sports meet about to start?
what?
Do not tell me you want to drag me into signing up. You do not want to.
honestly,
Xiaofei.
We are juniors now. This semester is ending soon. And come September,
We will be seniors.
some will be interning. Some will be working. The time our class can gather together will be even less. Then. It will probably only be when we take our graduation photos that everyone will be present. I thought about it. And it was true. What Liu Yu said did make quite a bit of sense. In the blink of an eye, I was about to become a senior too.
Once I graduated from college,
It would also be time to hold a wedding with Tang Yuxin, signing up for the sports meet. I am not really interested in that.
I figured.
Hardly anyone in our class signed up. Yu complained over the phone. Fortunately, this kind of thing was not mandatory. Unless truly very few people in the entire school participated, they would not assign quotas to each class. When is the get-together? I am actually quite interested in attending a get-together and seeing our classmates. The sports meet starts in 3 days.
If you are interested then,
You can come back to campus and take a look. Our class is having a dinner together that evening.
all right.
I have noted the time. I then hung up the phone. When Tang Yuxin returned home that evening, I told her about this. Tang Yuxin looked a bit disappointed. What a pity. I was thinking that during the sports meet, I might even get to see my hubby's heroic figure on the field. But Tang Yuxin was just saying that casually. I had to stay at home to take care of the 3 babies. I simply did not have much time to participate in any so-called sports meet. Since that is the case, we'll come back early on the day of the sports meet to watch the babies for you. You go attend the get-together.
Hubby.
The day of the get-together arrived quickly. Tang Yuxin came back early in the afternoon, and I got ready to head out. After parking the car in the parking lot, I strolled leisurely back to my dorm room.
My sons.
Your emperor has returned. Soon as I walked into the dorm, I announced loudly. However, there were only 2 people in the room. Zhang Bo and Wu Zitao were there, but Liu Chao was nowhere to be seen.
Where's old Liu?
Is not he preparing for the grad school entrance exam? He has been going to the library every single day for a long time now. There is still a long time until the exam. That guy is pushing himself way too hard, Zhang Bo said while playing Naraka. Blade Point. During the final exams last semester, when I returned to campus, chatted with my 3 roommates for a while. At the time, Liu Chao mentioned he was thinking about taking the grad school entrance exam. I did not expect him to actually put it into action. Then looked at Wu Zitao. Taozi, are you still playing games all day every day?
Zhang Bo's family owned a business.
He planned to go back and inherit the family business after graduation. But Wu Zitao was different. He came from an ordinary family, yet it seemed he was still just muddling his way through life. Who says I am playing games all day? Wu Zitao let out a soft humph and pointed at his computer screen. This is an indie game I am making myself.
I am going to be a game producer.
Not bad. Your own indie game. Immediately became interested and sat down in front of Wu Zitao's computer. How do you play? Wu Zitao immediately began to explain it to me. It is a business simulation game. I playtested it for a while and found that although the game was still a half-finished product, based on its current state, its playability was quite high, as expected of a hardcore gamer otaku. Wu Zitao had taken the experience he had accumulated over so many years, from playing countless types of games, and applied most of it to this small indie game. It is a pity I do not have money to hire an artist, and I do not have any artistic talent myself. I can only use some public domain art assets. Otherwise, this game would be even better.
Wu Zitao said with a hint of regret.
Are you planning to take this seriously? I looked at him with keen interest. Wu Zitao nodded. I plan to seriously make a complete indie game. If the revenue is good, I will keep going down this path. If the revenue is just average, I plan to use this project to apply for jobs at major studios. You have no idea. At this point, Zhang Bo leaned over and patted my shoulder. This guy has poured practically all his heart and soul into this thing this semester. He stays up late every single day. I looked at Wu Zitao and indeed noticed that he looked much more haggard. It seemed this guy was serious. I took another look at the half-finished game on the computer.
Ooh.
We'll invest in you. You can use the money to hire helpers to develop it together.
Of course.
I will take a cut of the final revenue. Consider it supporting a friend.
No.
No. No.
Wu Zitao.
However,
Rejected my proposal.
Brother Xiao,
I know you want to help me.
and I know you do not lack money, but honestly, I have absolutely no confidence in whether this thing will get good market feedback in the end. If your investment goes down the drain, I won't have the face to see you. Investment always comes with risks. If you feel bad about it, how about I just take 60% of the final sales revenue? It is just a small game. It won't cost much money at all. Wu Zitao hesitated again and finally gritted his teeth and said,
All right.
calculated it once before. Hiring an artist and outsourcing the parts I am not good at would probably cost around 100,000. I smiled. I will invest 300,000. Find a better outsourcing team.
That is too much.
Wu Zitao refused without even thinking. Brother Xiao, I would be completely taking advantage of you. I won't do something like that.
This.
Wu Zitao furrowed his brows. He really did not have much confidence in this small indie game of his. He had not even really thought about how much money it could make in the end.
Then I will take 70%.
That should take some of the pressure off you.
Right.
Just do your best.
I believe in you.
Bro, looking at me, Wu Zitao finally nodded.
All right.
You take 70%. Oh, right? If your investment goes down the drain, I will do my best to pay you back at least a part of it. I was instantly amused by Wu Zitao. Who does business like that? If you act like this when you enter society, I guarantee you will be eaten alive. Wu Zitao smiled good-naturedly and scratched the back of his head. Others are others.
But you are you.
Brother Xiao? We are dorm brothers. I could never take advantage of you. Since you put it that way, I can't take advantage of you either. Let us stick to a 60% cut. Forget about 70%. I looked around and noticed that Liu Chao had left his computer in the dorm. Immediately called Liu Chao, asking if I could use his computer for a bit. Liu Chao was very happy to hear I was back and straightforwardly told me to use it as I pleased. After hanging up, I raised an eyebrow. It is rare for me to come back. Let us team up for a round of Naraka.
Let us go.
Has your skill gotten rusty? Brother Xiao, Zhang Bo and Wu Zitao immediately sprang into action. I also opened the game using Liu Chao's computer. Soon after, shouts and weird yells of excitement echoed through the dorm, finally securing the chosen own victory. I closed the game. Satisfied, checked the time. It was just about time for the class get-together. The three of us left the dorm and walked toward the hot pot restaurant the class rep had announced in the class group chat. The tables Liu Yu had booked were in the main hall of the hot pot restaurant. After all, a class of 30 to 40 people could not possibly fit into a single private room. After Zhang Bo,
Wu Zitao,
and I entered the main hall, immediately heard Liu Yue's voice. Handsome Xiao. Over here. Over here. You always had an enthusiastic smile on her face. Following Liu Yu's voice, many classmates looked over. Upon spotting me, they all started jeering playfully. The winner in life of our class is finally here. Long time no see. Brother Xiao.
Why did not you invite Professor Tang along?
I walked over to an empty seat and sat down, then replied. She has to watch the babies at home. Usually take care of them, but if we both came, who would look after the babies? Yu was immediately curious. Did not you guys hire a maternity matron? You do not look like someone lacking money. Is not hiring a maternity matron a piece of cake for you? I smiled. I feel more at ease taking care of my own babies personally. Everyone nodded in understanding, but did not feel too strongly about it. After all, they were all still students. At this moment, suddenly noticed something strange. This guy?
Zhang Bo
kept stealing glances at Liu Yu. Taozi. What is going on with Zhang Bo? Does not he have a girlfriend? Hai had heard Lu Chao and Wu Zitao mention before that Zhang Bo had gotten a girlfriend. Hai had always wanted to find a time for everyone to get together, but there was never really a good opportunity. Wu Zitao chuckled. You have no idea. It has been a real roller coaster. With Wu Zitao's explanation, I finally understood what had happened. It turned out there was an issue with the girlfriend Zhang Bo was previously dating. She ran off with someone else. Later, it was actually Lu Yue who discovered this.
As the class rep?
Out of a sense of responsibility for all her classmates. Although Liu Yu was angry, she did not lose her head. She did not go directly to Zhang Bo to tell him about it.
That could easily offend people.
Instead, she dropped subtle hints, guiding Zhang Bo to discover the issues with his girlfriend step by step. In the end, Zhang Bo broke up with his girlfriend and was depressed for a few days. During those few days, Yu was the ON keeping him company. But who would have thought that after stepping out of his previous relationship,
Zhang Bo
would actually develop feelings for Lu Yue? I was dumbfounded listening to this. To think something like this happened, even mini-dramas would not dare script this. Bozi is still agonizing over it. He wants to confess but does not dare, afraid of being rejected by our class rep.
So lately,
he can only find random excuses to go help the class rep handle various tasks. The class rep still thinks Bozi's awareness has suddenly leveled up and that he is getting ready to serve his classmates. Haha. Wu Zitao laughed helplessly. Liu Yu's looks were not particularly outstanding, but her personality was truly excellent. Whether as a friend or a girlfriend, she was a very good choice. This is up to Bozi himself. It is not our place to interfere. I shook my head, but Bozi's family is quite wealthy.
Right?
What was that girlfriend of his thinking? Running off with someone else.
who knows?
Anyway, after seeing all this messy stuff, I have zero desire to date anymore. It is too scary. Wu Zitao lowered his head and took a sip of his drink. At this moment, a timid voice suddenly sounded behind me. Student Xiao. I turned my head and was surprised to find it was Jiang Xiaolei, the girl who received the donations last time. What is up?
Student Xiao, thank you for your help before.
My grandmother asked me to give this to you. She very shyly handed me a bag. I thought about it for a second. Zhang Xiaolei was a very stubborn person. If I did not accept it, it might lead to some uncontrollable situation. So I smiled and accepted the gift. Opening it, I found some homemade dried fruits from the countryside. Zhang Xiaolei had prepared these a long time ago, but because I had not returned to campus, and Zhang Xiaolei felt it would not be appropriate to make me take a special trip just to deliver these things, she had waited until today. It is not anything fancy.
Student Xiao.
Please do not mind. I am already working hard at my part-time job. Later on.
I will.
Did not I tell you before? Interrupted Zhang Xiaolei. There is no rush to pay back the money.
Wait until you graduate
and have a stable job with an income before talking about this.
Is your dad okay now?
My dad is doing very well now. He can work again. Mentioning this, Zhang Xiaolei also smiled. Hai headed out to attend the class get-together. After seeing me out the door, Tang Yuxin returned to the living room. Looking at the three little angels happily playing by themselves in the play area, Tang Yuxin was filled with motivation. Although it was usually me taking care of the three babies all by myself, Tang Yuxin, could totally do it too. Sitting on the plush carpet, Second Treasure looked up at her strange mother. Tilting her head, she babbled,
Ma.
Ow. Second Treasure is such a good girl. Tang Yuxin quickly ran over, hugged Second Treasure, and planted a kiss on her. Second Treasure was very happy.
So,
a little hand smacked right onto Tang Yuxin's face.
Ma.
First Treasure and Third Treasure were also very well behaved. Not crying or making a fuss. They were holding their toys on the side, playing intently. The scene could be considered quite harmonious. However, after playing for a while, Tang Yuxin gently put Second Treasure down. She blinked her eyes and fell silent.
oh, right?
If hubby is not home,
I have to take care of dinner myself.
it was not until her stomach growled grumble, grumble, grumble from hunger that Tang Yuxin belatedly realized this. She had already grown accustomed to a life of just eating, drinking, playing with the babies, being pampered by her husband, and not having to worry about a single thing at home every day. With me suddenly not at home, Tang Yuxin could not adapt for a moment. She walked into the kitchen.
Apron.
Where is the apron? Found it. Finding the apron and putting it on, Tang Yuxin opened the refrigerator. Looking inside, she found that it was fully stocked with all sorts of ingredients. 1 second, she was thinking about cooking a meal, but a moment later, Tang Yuxin sighed. I just can't muster up the motivation to cook. I will just make a simple bowl of noodles to solve this. But noodles? Where are the noodles? Closing the refrigerator door, Tang Yuchen walked back into the kitchen and was subsequently dumbfounded. Not only the noodles, but even the firewood, rice,
Oil, salt, soy sauce,
vinegar, and other basic supplies. She had absolutely no idea where any of them were kept. After searching for a long time and finally gathering all the various seasonings and ingredients, just as Tang Yuxin was about to turn on the stove and boil water, Second Treasure's crying suddenly echoed from the living room. So, she had to go click-clack running back, pick Second Treasure up, and check her diaper. It was dry.
So,
she must be hungry.
Make formula.
Make formula.
Tang Yuxin hurriedly went to prepare formula for Second Treasure. Only after the formula was ready did she come back, hold Second Treasure, and start feeding her. After finishing feeding Second Treasure, Tang Yuxin suddenly lost all desire to eat dinner herself. Her stomach seemed to have passed the point of intense hunger, and she actually could not feel the hunger anymore. She took out her phone, opened WeChat, and opened her chat interface with me. I feel so bored. Checking the time, it had only been about an hour since I left the house. How could I possibly feel bored after such a short separation? Tang Yuxin vigorously shook her head, but her fingers uncontrollably typed out, "I am so bored I could die." However, just before subconsciously hitting send, Tang Yuxin snapped out of it. Blushing, she hurriedly deleted the message.
No.
No.
Hubby stays at home taking care of the kids every single day. It is rare for him to go out and hang out with his classmates.
I can't disturb him.
As a wife, at a time like this, I need to let my husband have fun outside without worrying. Tang Yuxin took a deep breath, picked up Third Treasure, and curled up on the sofa, seemingly sensing her mother's low spirits. Third Treasure tried using her little hand to gently pat Tang Yuxin's delicate cheek, receiving comfort from her baby. Tang Yuxin's mood improved slightly. Come to think of it, it feels like it has been ages. Hubby should be coming back soon, right? Tang Yuxin checked the time again. Only 10 minutes had passed since she finished feeding Second Treasure.
Oh my god.
Why is time passing so slowly?
Suddenly,
A ding sounded from WeChat. Almost instantly, Tang Yuxin picked up her phone to look.
How are you eating properly at home?
Sorry, I left in such a hurry.
I did not prepare dinner for you. In an instant, it seemed all her dissatisfaction and loneliness completely vanished. Curled up on the sofa, Tang Yuxin uncontrollably let out a silly giggle. Tang Yuxin quickly replied to me, "Do not worry and just have fun. I am totally fine taking care of the babies." Very quickly, another reply came from my end.
Thanks for your hard work.
Honey, I will be back soon.
Love you.
love you too.
Hubby.
After ending the conversation, Tang Yuxin did not put her phone down. Instead, she stared blankly at our chat history. Not far away, Vanilla lay on top of the cat tree,
Watching Tang Yuxin,
who looked as if her intelligence had drastically regressed, and helplessly rolled her eyes. The female owner looked simply utterly foolish.
As expected.
For this family to continue functioning normally, they still had to rely on her, Vanilla, and the male owner. Life is hard.
Kitty size.
Vanilla, who had sacrificed so much for this family, swished her tail, jumped down from the cat tree, and walked over to the side. The set time arrived. Clatter, clatter. Cat food poured out from the automatic feeder. Next to me, Zhang Bo looked at me with a face full of curiosity. "What are you doing?" Hearing Zhang Bo's inquiry, I quickly turned off my phone screen, smiled, and said, "Nothing." Him. He is probably exchanging love letters with our Professor Tang, a guy jokingly teased. And the whole group erupted in laughter. I did not deny it. I even raised my glass with a hint of pride.
Because I had to drive.
My glass only held juice.
What can I say?
People who have a family are basically all like this. You single dogs would not understand. I shrugged, explaining nonchalantly, "I am feeling the sourness of jealousy. Eat hot pot. Eat hot pot."
I refuse to eat this PDA.
It was easy to tell that everyone was expressing great disdain verbally, but deep down, they were incredibly envious. I turned my phone back on and took a look at the photo of Tang Yuxin set as my wallpaper. My wife really is beautiful. At this time, Class Rep Liu suddenly asked me, "How exactly did you manage to woo the most famous Professor Tang in our school?" Soon as this question was asked, many people looked over, putting on expressions eager for some juicy gossip. My gaze swept over everyone present, and I said with a light humph,
Class rep.
"Look at my face and ask your question again. Do not you feel like something's wrong with it?" You stared blankly for a long time.
Then,
She suddenly realized, good grief.
Are you trying to say you are so handsome?
That Professor Tang was the one who pursued you.
No.
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 I raised my index finger and wagged it gently.
This is called
a mutual telepathic connection. The group burst into laughter again. Good grief. He is still the same old Xiao Fei.
I thought since you got rich,
You would talk less.
Amidst the joyful atmosphere.
In a daze. I also felt as if I had once again reverted back to being that simple college student, rather than a husband and a father. Soon. The dinner ended. Although I wanted to go home, most of my classmates were enthusiastically inviting everyone to continue the party.
You had even already booked
a private room nearby for karaoke. Checked the time. It was already around 9 of the clock. The time spent on this dinner was unusually long. Hurriedly said,
I can't.
It is getting late. I have to head back.
Wu Zitao chimed in from the side. Brother Xiao is married. After all, it is not appropriate for him to stay out too late playing with us. So getting married too early is indeed an extremely massive mistake. Liu Chao pushed up the glasses on his nose. After deciding to take the grad school entrance exam, this guy seemed to be evolving in some weird direction. Yu wanted to pat my shoulder, but because she was not tall enough, she could only pat my arm and smack her lips. Marriage is the graveyard of love. That saying does not seem to apply to you.
Then?
Marriage is the graveyard of freedom. Saying it like that should not be a problem.
Right, but
I think having someone at home, having someone to care about,
That's a very
happy thing, Zhang Xiaolei stammered, trying to speak up for me. But she was naturally quite timid. After mustering the courage to say that own sentence, she blushed and fell silent. I smiled and waved my hand. Let us just leave it at that. I am heading back first. Seeing my insistence, everyone did not try to make me stay any longer. Returning to the campus parking lot, I drove my car and headed toward home. Upon returning home, I found the living room light on, but only Vanilla was there, lying on the cat tree. Seeing me return, she lifted her little paw and let out a meow. I walked to the bedroom door and gently pushed it open. In the bedroom? Inside the crib, the 3 little babies were fast asleep. Tang Yuxin was curled up at the head of the bed,
Holding a remote control in her hand.
her head bobbing up and down. Oh, and look. And you could tell she was dozing off. I smiled, walked up softly, took the remote control from Tang Yuxin's hand, and turned off the TV. Then, I picked Tang Yuxin up, intending to lay her down flat on the bed. With this movement, Tang Yuxin immediately woke up. Opening her eyes and seeing me, Tang Yuxin's face lit up with pleasant surprise. Hubby, you are back. She directly reached out her arms and wrapped them around my neck, but quickly wrinkled her cute nose.
Ugh.
You smell like hot pot all over. Quick, go take a shower.
I let go of Tang Yuxin.
And asked, you were falling asleep.
Why did not you just go to sleep first?
I wanted to wait for hubby to come back. Tang Yuxin said with a charmingly naive tone. If hubby came home and there was no one to welcome him, would not that be so pitiful? Just as she finished speaking, Tang Yuxin's stomach suddenly growled.
I frowned.
It is so late. Did you not eat dinner?
I ate.
Then, seeing me staring at her fixedly, she changed her tune. I did not eat. Tang Yuxin felt a bit guilty. I sighed. My fault.
I should have prepared dinner for you before I left.
I sat on the edge of the bed and gently rubbed Tang Yuxin's head. It has nothing to do with you. Hubby, it was me who did not want to eat. It is not hubby's fault at all. I looked curious.
Why did not you want to eat?
Because hubby was not here. Eating alone feels so boring.
like having hubby by my side.
With hubby here.
I can scarf down 3 bowls of rice without even needing side dishes. Well, I am not here every day at noon either.
So, how come you can still eat with such a good appetite then?
If on day I am no longer around, would not you be unable to survive alone? But you are the own who prepares the lunches. Hubby, when I eat them, I feel like you are right by my side. This direct hit struck right at my heart. I felt like I could love this girl beside me to death. That is right. Tang Yuxin nodded her head very seriously. Then she gently hugged me. If on day hubby is no longer around, I definitely would not be able to survive alone. After saying that, she looked straight into my eyes again and said softly,
So,
hubby,
You absolutely have to stay with me forever.
okay, if you are not here, I really won't be able to live. Remained silent for a long moment, then hugged Tang Yuxin and kissed her forehead. All right. I will always be by your side. You rest first? I will go make you something to eat. Tang Yuxin sat at the head of the bed, revealing a slight smile. The home was still the same home. But just because I was back, Tang Yuxin felt as if even the temperature had grown warmer. And along with it, Tang Yuxin's mood began to soar. Early the next morning, I told Tang Yuxin I wanted to go to an anime convention. I want to go to the anime convention to look at the 18-year-old cosplayer girls. Just a moment ago, honey, I remember in a couple of days, there seems to be an anime convention here in Shanghai.
Right.
Be the end of my sentence.
My tone lacked a bit of confidence.
An anime convention?
I really wanted to go, but it was not going to be easy to explain to Tang Yuxin.
Sure enough.
Upon hearing me say this, Tang Yuxin immediately narrowed her eyes.
An anime convention?
Hubby, do not tell me you want to go there to look at the pretty girls.
No.
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 I am not going there to look at those women.
I raised an eyebrow. I am truly not going for those cosplayer girls. After all, my wife at home is countless times more beautiful than them. But as a fan of otaku culture, how can I not go when my own city is hosting an anime convention?
Suddenly,
A flash of inspiration hit me.
Honey.
How about on the day of the convention?
We go play together.
Huh?
Go together.
No.
You go ahead, if we both go. Who is going to watch the babies? Tang Yuxin shook her head and refused.
Hubby.
You still prefer those 2 days waifus more. Saying this, Tang Yuxin rolled her eyes at me in exasperation. Seeing my awkward expression, Tang Yuxin felt even more triumphant.
Looking purely at his outward appearance.
Owen would never associate her husband with having the heart of an otaku.
But as my wife.
Tang Yuxin knew this all too well. She even had quite a few beautiful anime-style outfits in her own wardrobe. And those outfits were not all bought by Tang Yuxin herself. Although Tang Yuxin was also very interested in going out to play with me, considering the babies.
She still chose to stay behind.
I thought about it and agreed. Before the babies could take care of themselves,
As parents.
we truly could not afford to be idle. I pondered for a moment and sighed. Forget it.
I won't go either.
The babies are the most important. Tang Yuxin blinked her eyes and looked at me. She could tell I was genuinely very interested in the anime convention. But for the sake of the babies, I had already given up too much. Tang Yuxin suddenly felt a pang of heartache for me. Hubby,
Why do not you go?
I can watch the babies by myself.
No.
Compared to those hobbies, you and the babies are the most important. After starting a family, especially after having kids, a man is destined to give up many things. Among them are many of his own hobbies. Tang Yuxin hugged my arm a bit tighter and silently made a decision in her heart. The next day, Tang Yuxin went out early. Her explanation to me was that she was going shopping with Zheng Yu. I did not pay it much mind. In the afternoon, Tang Yuxin returned home carrying bags big and small. Hubby, come with me. After saying that, Tang Yuxin pulled me into the bedroom. Ta-da. Looking at all the various anime-related gear Tang Yuxin pulled out, I was stunned. Good grief. I can't even.
Hee.
Hubby. Even if we can't go to the anime convention, we can still play around at home by ourselves.
Hubby.
Wait for me for just a tiny bit.
I will be right back.
5 minutes later, Tang Yuxin came out dressed in a Hu Tao cosplay outfit.
Ta-da.
Hubby. Hubby.
Is this the Hu Tao you have been dreaming about?
Did I cosplay her well? Standing in the room, I was utterly mesmerized. She was too beautiful. This Tang Yuxin version of Hu Tao was just too incredibly accurate.
Wife.
You are seriously way too amazing.
As long as you like it.
Hubby. I can cosplay often from now on.
Hubby.
You have given up so much for me and the babies.
I need to be more considerate of you too.
Honey,
And outfit, this cute. You absolutely cannot wear it for anyone else to see.
I will get jealous.
You know.
Wife?
You are the perfect Hu Tao in my eyes.
Wait.
No Tang Yu Tao. Tang Yuxin giggled happily. Do not worry.
Hubby.
Such a cute Tang Yu Tao will forever belong only to you.
Hubby.
Right before bed that night, I suddenly received a call from Guo Yong, brother-in-law.
Sorry.
I hope I am not disturbing you. Guo Yong's attitude on the phone was extremely respectful.
No.
Your sister and I are just watching TV. What is up? Guo Yong directly stated his purpose for calling. It is like this. Brother-in-law. With your help, the development of my browser and its built-in search engine.
Us already complete.
We are preparing to launch it onto the market.
Is that so?
Are you short on funds for promotion? I asked casually.
No.
Not at all. Brother-in-law, you have invested nearly tens of millions so far. It is just that, I felt this was a major milestone. So, I needed to notify you. Brother-in-law. Are not you going to come visit the company? My absolute trust in Guoyang left him not knowing what to say. Having invested so much money from start to finish, I had completely tossed the company to him and washed my hands of it. Was I truly not afraid he would abscond with the funds again? What is there to see?
All right.
I will find some time to drop by, but I really do not have time to manage the company. You know, I have to take care of the babies.
Understood.
Brother-in-law. After Guo Yong happily hung up the phone, I recounted Guo Yong's recent situation to Tang Yuxin. That kid. I heard he is working his life away right now. Tang Yuxin thought of the times she chatted with her mother on the phone, and the updates on Guo Yong she heard from her. He eats and sleeps at the company. He is the only one in the whole company working crazy overtime. He is practically working himself to the bone. My aunt is both happy and heartbroken for him.
We talked.
Tang Yuxin suddenly remembered something.
Oh, right.
Hubby.
My aunt and uncle also said they are coming to Shanghai in a while. To properly thank you. There is nothing to thank me for. I waved my hand.
Guo Yong is a talent himself.
And he is willing to endure hardship. Even without me. He would have pulled himself out of that mess sooner or later. Let us not talk about that. It is rare to have a summer vacation. And almost 10 days have already passed. Are we just going to stay in Shanghai? Did you want to take me somewhere to play? Tang Yuxin hugged me with a smile, tilting her head as she asked. Let me think. How about we take the babies along and go camping in the mountains? Hearing this proposal, Tang Yuxin's eyes lit up.
Sounds great.
It is a joyful decision then. So, Tang Yuxin went on an online shopping spree for camping gear. The next day, I drove to the center of Shanghai. Guo Yong's and my company was located in an office building here. Since Guo Yong had already brought it up, I felt it was necessary to come and take a look. I stepped out of the elevator and arrived at the front desk. Feiyu Network Technology Co. Limited. This was the name of the company. The receptionist, seeing me step out of the elevator, had her eyes light up. What a handsome guy. He looked even better than those celebrities she fawned over on TV. The receptionist tried her best to show a perfect smile and asked, "Hello. Handsome sir, may I ask how I can help you? I am looking for Guo Yong." I stated my purpose. Mr. Guo. The receptionist was momentarily stunned, then subconsciously said, "Certainly. Mr. Guo is in his office. I will take you there." After saying this, the receptionist snapped back to reality. She stood there blushing. She had been so dazzled by the handsome guy in front of her that she actually forgot to ask if he had an appointment and just wanted to take him directly to Mr. Guo.
She was doomed.
Right at that moment, Guo Yong walked over and saw me. "Broth boss." I cast a satisfied glance at Guo Yong. Inside the company, it was better not to be calling out brother-in-law left and right. I nodded, glanced at the surprised receptionist, and followed Guo Yong into the company. After I left, the receptionist finally let out a low gasp. That knee-weakeningly handsome guy is actually the boss of our company. I followed Guo Yong into the office area. Guo Yong clapped his hands to draw everyone's attention.
Everyone.
Please put your work on hold for a moment. Let me introduce someone. This is the true boss of our company. Boss, Xiao Fei. The mysterious boss is finally here. The employees of the company looked at me curiously one by one. Then, the young women were all inexplicably excited. Working under a boss this handsome, their motivation was literally doubled. Okay. I smiled and greeted everyone, then went into the office with Guo Yong. You need to get some proper rest.
Sitting on the sofa?
I looked at the thick dark circles on Guo Yong's face opposite me.
If you keep this up,
your body won't be able to handle it.
I am fine.
Guo Yong shook his head. I am young. It is the right time to push hard. I laughed and scolded. I am younger than you.
All right,
just listen to me. You can't go wrong. Brother-in-law.
it is different for you.
Since there were no outsiders around, Guo Yong went back to calling me brother-in-law. All right. I waved my hand. Your sister told me all about your situation. Youth is capital. But it is not meant to be abused like this.
I said you need rest.
I understand. Guo Yong lowered his head. Even though I was a few years younger than him, standing in front of me, Guo Yong felt like a little kid, being reprimanded, not daring to argue back at all. Deep down, he had an immense amount of respect and admiration for me. At first, it was just respect. After all, I had helped him overcome a major crisis. But after the people I arranged came to help, Guo Yong gradually realized something was different. Those people's work capabilities were simply too outstanding. Helping him in the shortest amount of time, they got the company on the right track. People like them, placed in any company, would have boundless futures. Yet they came directly to this tiny startup, solely because of me, his brother-in-law, starting to struggle from zero. What did this prove? Guo Yong was not stupid. A little thought was all it took to understand. This was definitely because his brother-in-law possessed immense power, allowing him to make these people willingly do this. Because of this, beyond respect, Guo Yong began to idolize me more and more. The more outstanding the people who came to help him were, the more Guo Yong admired me. How about this? In a couple of days, your sister and I are planning to go camping in the mountains. You are coming with us. Your absence won't cause any problems.
Not you in charge of the tech.
Now that the product development is finished,
You?
the tech guy, should have some free time.
Right.
But there is various post-launch maintenance, data monitoring, and
Guoyong wanted to say more.
But seeing my gaze, he sheepishly fell silent. I understand. Brother-in-law, that is more like it. If work is truly too busy, take these 2 days to make arrangements, and squeeze out own day to go relax. Do not make me and your sister worry about you.
Okay. Guo-young looked at me.
Deeply moved, this brother-in-law not only helped him pay off his debts, but also cared about him in his daily life. Oh, right? Suddenly changed the subject. If there is a girl you like, take this opportunity to bring her along. Your sister and I can help cover for you. No? There is not anyone. Guoyong hurriedly waved his hands.
Right now.
My career is my priority. Dating is inappropriate. Truly inappropriate. It seemed he was genuinely single-mindedly, pouring all his energy into his work. I did not press the matter. Gave him a few more words of advice, took a look at the specific operations of the company, and then returned home. At this time, Tang Yuxin at home suddenly received a phone call. It was from her best friend,
Su Qingyan.
What? You guys are going camping. Count me in. We thought it would just be an ordinary camping trip, but something totally unexpected happened. Camping is only fun with more people. Otherwise, it will just be the two of you. It will be boring. How could that be? Tang Yuqin exclaimed dismissively. I am happier than anyone could know when I am with my husband. Plus,
We have the babies?
I surrender to you.
I really do.
But Yuxin, do you really have the heart to leave me all alone? Over the phone, Su Qingyan continuously voiced her complaints. However, listening to her voice, Tang Yuxin, curled up on the sofa, was covering her mouth and giggling non-stop. Who was nearby inspecting the various tents and camping gear Tang Yuxin had bought online, looked over with a smile. The more people,
the merrier.
I invited Guo-young this time anyway. Tang Yuxin nodded. Only then did she speak into the phone.
All right.
All right.
Stop being mad. My husband said that since you have pleaded with such sincerity, we'll mercifully allow you to join our trip.
Hemph.
What kind of attitude is that? I am not going anymore. That is what she said. But when the day of departure arrived, did not you say you were not going? Tang Yuxin put her hands on her hips and raised an eyebrow. That expression of yours looks exactly like your husband's. Su Qingyan threw her luggage onto the floor and then started looking around the villa. It is truly enviable.
Yuxin.
You have really become a wealthy socialite wife now.
What wealthy socialite wife?
Stop spouting nonsense.
Ball-eyed by Tang Yuxin, Su Qingyan took a tour of the entire villa. The more she toured, the heavier the envy on her face became, but she was also genuinely happy that her best friend could live such a good life. In the end, Su Qingyan said to me very seriously,
I am telling you?
Yuxin is a very simple and stubborn person. You have already spoiled her to the heavens now. If one day you suddenly decide you do not want her anymore, she won't be able to survive alone. If I ever find out you are not treating Yuxin well, I won't let you off the hook. You do not need to tell me that.
Right in front of Su Qingyan?
Directly pulled Tang Yuxin into a hug. Yuxin and I will be together forever. The corner of Su Qingyan's eye twitched violently.
Good grief.
Here she was, looking all worried about her best friend, and now they were just force-feeding her PDA live on the spot. Oh right. How's your job situation going? Back then, Su Qingyan had said she wanted to relax properly for a while first. It had been quite a long time since then, but looking at her, it seemed she still had not started working. Sure enough, hearing my question, Su Qingyan immediately sighed. Jobs are not that easy to find. There are plenty of opportunities domestically. Sure, but my family back home keeps saying, I need to settle my personal matters first before going to work. After all,
You are getting older.
Tang Yuxin unceremoniously backstabbed Su Qingyan with that remark. Hearing this, the latter was instantly enraged.
Wow.
Yuxin.
And to think I just offended your husband, for your sake. It is true what they say. Bros before?
Wait?
Hoes before bros. Wait? You get a husband and forget your bestie. While later, I put all 3 babies into the car, and then drove to the company to pick up Guo-young. After he got in the car, Tang Yuxin looked at Guo-young, who had exhaustion written on his face, but whose eyes were exceptionally bright. She huffed in exasperation. Did not your brother-in-law talk to you? Why are you still staying up late?
Sis.
There are truly a lot of things to do at work. Guo-young let out a bitter smile. This guy had practically slept at the company again yesterday. Then, he saw Su Qingyan and stared blankly for a moment. The valiant and heroic-looking Su Qingyan, although not comparable to Tang Yuxin, was still a rare beauty. Guo-young took an look and nodded at Su Qingyan in greeting.
Hello. Hello.
Yuxin. Is this your younger brother, cousin? Tang Yushin introduced him. His name is Guo Yong. Guo Yong.
This is my best friend.
Su Qingyan.
My classmate from Munich.
Guo Yong felt a bit constrained.
And finally just ducked into the front of the car, sitting directly in the passenger seat.
Why did you come over here?
I asked while driving. Brother-in-law? It was too awkward in the back. Guo Yong blushed a little, sitting with two beautiful girls. He could not even speak properly. I let out a soft chuckle, glanced at Guo Yong, and then thought of something. What? Did you take a liking to Yuxin's classmate? No.
No.
No. Absolutely not. It is just that I have hardly ever been alone with girls. I have absolutely no idea what to talk to them about.
On is your sister.
And the other is your sister's classmate.
What are you nervous about?
Guo Yong smiled sheepishly and did not speak. Brother-in-law.
Your own looks are top tier.
And you are with my sister every day.
So you are used to it.
But when other people are around my sister, the pressure is super intense. You know? Guo Yong took a deep breath to calm himself down, with a face full of emotion. Guo Yong said, Brother-in-law, I am truly super envious of you. I looked puzzled. Envious of what? Envious that I have money.
No. No.
No. Not that. I am envious of your life. You do not have to work your life away. You can spend all day with your family. You have my sister and 3 kids. This kind of life is practically like a dream, but everyone has their own destiny. I believe that as long as I work hard for a few years, I will be able to live this kind of life too. That might not necessarily be true. I thought to myself, among those who start businesses, many initially hold the mindset of working themselves to the bone for a few years, and then retiring early to enjoy life after achieving financial freedom. But how many actually manage to do that? Once many people step onto this path, they simply can't stop. This was also why I did not manage any companies myself. What I wanted was to enjoy life, to accompany my wife and kids, not to spend all day in the business world scheming against people, chasing after petty gains. The car drove all the way out of the downtown Shanghai area and into the suburbs. Gradually, rolling hills appeared in the surroundings. When the car arrived at the foot of the mountain, I brought the car to a halt. What is wrong? Brother-in-law, in the passenger seat. Guo Yong turned his head and asked, let us go discuss something. I led Guo Yong to the back of the car. As soon as we walked over, we saw the 2 women tirelessly teasing the babies.
First treasure.
Say, mommy. Su Qingyan was teasing First Treasure. First Treasure glanced at Su Qingyan and completely ignored her.
You are not my mama.
Ha ha ha. Silly woman.
Trying to trick my baby.
You are dreaming.
My babies are all very smart. Tang Yuxin proudly lifted her head upon seeing Guo Yong and me walking over. She immediately greeted us. Hubby.
What is up?
Let me ask you guys something. We have arrived at the foot of the mountain. Now, we have 2 choices. Owen is to drive straight up the mountain. 2 is to park the car at the bottom and hike up. Which Owen do you choose? Su Qingyan did not even think about it.
Drive.
Drive. Tang Yushin chuckled playfully.
Hike.
I clapped my hands.
All right.
Since everyone agrees, let us hike.
What the heck?
Su Qingyan glared at me.
No way.
Xiao Fei.
Being biased towards your wife is own thing. But this is too much bias.
It's not it.
Carrying all these bags, big and small, to hike up a mountain, and with 3 babies, wake up. Do not let your wife charm you into losing your IQ. Tang Yuxin immediately knitted her brows.
Yanyan.
What are you saying?
What do you mean losing your IQ? Are you insulting me in a roundabout way?
Finally.
She let out a cute humph. I won't say I am forcing you. Let us put it to a vote. My husband will definitely agree with me.
So he does not need to vote.
Right now, I choose to hike. You want to drive?
Guo Yong.
What do you choose?
So.
Guo Yong was simultaneously stared down by 2 incredibly beautiful women. Guo Yong felt the pressure of a mountain bearing down on him. A fine layer of cold sweat had already broken out on his forehead. I choose to go back and write code.
That? Okay.
The 2 women spoke in unison.
No way.
Absolutely not. That expression seemed to say, if you do not take a stand, do not even think about leaving today. Brother-in-law.
Save me.
Guo Yong looked at me again. I spread my hands, indicating I could not help him. Su Qingyan looked at Guo Yong, rolled her eyes playfully, and walked over to him with a model strut.
Handsome.
Do not you feel sorry for me? Hiking up a mountain and all that is too tiring. Would not it be better if we drove? Tang Yuxin pouted.
Guo Yong.
If you dare agree, I will have your brother-in-law beat you up.
Yuxin.
You are playing dirty.
How could you do this? You have changed. You have changed.
You are not the Yushin I used to know?
Guo Yong stood rooted to the spot, thought about it seriously, and finally said, Can I choose to drive? Guo Yong. Do not tell me you have been charmed by her. That expression seemed to say, I never thought you were this kind of person.
No.
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 Being questioned by his cousin like this, Guo Yong hurriedly shook his head.
Sis.
You know I spend all day in the office. My physical stamina is already terrible. Hiking up a mountain while carrying luggage would kill me. Besides, you guys have the babies with you too. It really would be inconvenient not to drive. Mentioning the babies, Tang Yushin was finally persuaded.
She pouted.
All right. Driving it is.
All right then.
I will go drive.
Return to the driver's seat.
Guo Yong hurriedly followed.
Duplicate line removed during translation formatting. However, the moment he turned around, Su Qingyan actually blew him a flying kiss.
Thanks.
Handsome. Guo Yong tripped and almost fell flat on his face. He thought to himself, beautiful women are so terrifying. Can I please just go back and write code? After Guo Yong left, Tang Yuqin finally narrowed her eyes and stared at Su Qingyan. Something's not right with you.
What?
What is not right? Su Qingyan replied nonchalantly. Tang Yuqin sneered. As if I do not know you. Even though you can be very open when chatting, that is only with people you are familiar with. This is your first time meeting my cousin.
Right.
Sk. Caught your eye. Did he? Su Qingyan's eyes widened. How is that possible? Stop spouting nonsense. There is no such thing.
Then, why are you staring at the sky?
Say it while looking at me if you dare.
Are you feeling guilty?
Are you feeling guilty?
Why would not I dare?
The two women engaged in an intense staring contest. While later, my eyes are so sore. Before long, I parked the car halfway up the mountain.
All right.
Even though we drove up the mountain, we obviously can't drive straight to the campsite. After all, there is basically no road ahead.
So, we can only hike.
Fortunately.
It is not far now. It will take 20 minutes at most. For mountain climbing, 20-minute journey was indeed quite short. I hoisted Tang Yuxin's and my luggage onto my back. Guo Yong carried his own. Su Qingyan looked at the suitcase in her hand, then looked at the empty-handed Tang Yuxin, and her gaze became subtle. It must be so nice having someone to help carry the luggage. I still have to carry the babies. Tang Yuxin let out a cute humph. That so? Su Qingyan pointed at me standing nearby.
Look at what that is.
Tang Yuxin turned her head to look and was stunned. Hubby.
Not you tired?
It turned out I had actually strapped 3 baby carriers to my front and secured all 3 little angels safely inside them. Not tired at all. Even if I threw you over my shoulder, would not be a problem. My physical constitution is terrifyingly good. This little bit of weight is nothing to me. Su Qingyan kept smacking her lips. With a physique this amazing, Yuxin must be very happy.
Right.
I'm going to rip your mouth off. With a weird yelp, Tang Yuxin lunged at Su Qingyan. The two women playfully scuffled and laughed along the mountain path. Not long after, we finally arrived at the campsite. Su Qingyan threw her backpack onto the ground. Without caring whether it was clean or not, she simply found a rock and sat down on it.
Phew.
I am exhausted.
In the same state as her was Guo Yong. Although he was a man, during his student days, Guo Yong had focused entirely on studying, and he had not exercised at all since graduating. His physical stamina was truly lacking. Tang Yuxin, on the other hand, had been carried by me for a large portion of the way, and had not carried any luggage at all. She had been incredibly relaxed from start to finish. Looking at Tang Yuxin, who still had the leisure and energy to hum a song and wander around, Su Qingyan's face was full of resentment. That is enough. You are doing this on purpose to provoke me.
Are not you?
Ha! Who told you not to find a boyfriend? Su Qingyan instantly felt a deep pang of heartache.
Woman, you have changed.
You are no longer the Yuxin who relied on herself for everything. Where did that strong, independent Yuxin go? I set down the luggage nearby, and then spread a ground cloth on the earth. Next, I placed the 3 little babies onto it. Only after finishing all this, did I look up toward Tang Yuxin and smile. Yuxin is very strong.
Love you.
Hubby. Tang Yuxin beamed with joy and blew a flying kiss my way. Su Qingyan instantly felt incredibly stifled in her heart.
Guo Yong,
standing nearby, watched with a face full of envy. He also wished to have this kind of love, but very quickly, Guo Yong slapped his own cheeks hard.
Wake up, Guo Yong.
The most important thing for you right now is to hustle, work hard, and strive for a brilliant future. After resting for a while, Guo Yong saw me setting up the barbecue grill over there, and immediately walked over and said, "Brother-in-law,
Let me do it.
you go take a walk around with sis."
All right.
I did not decline, and handed the task of setting up the grill to Guo Yong. The three little angels were curiously searching for the direction of the birdsong, babbling, yee yee ya ya, seeing me walk over. They each offered a smiling face, continuously calling out, ba, ba. Speaking of which, what exactly does getting married feel like? Su Qingyan asked.
Why do you ask?
Tang Yuxian countered with a question. Do not you think it is incredibly miraculous? Su Qingyan gestured with her fingers. Two people who originally had absolutely no connection with each other end up spending the rest of their lives together. Just thinking about it feels so unbelievable. Hearing this, I smiled, because the relationship between husband and wife is special. Tang Yuxian looked at me with a tender gaze.
Hubby.
Am I special to you?
You are.
I nodded. Only you are special. That is why I would only ever marry you.
Watching Tang Yuxin and me
being all lovey-dovey and whispering sweet nothings to each other.
Su Qingyan had a breakdown.
She grabbed her hair and shouted loudly, "Help! I can't take this anymore. I feel like I do not even need to eat lunch. I am already stuffed full of your PDA. Hey! The guy with glasses over there. I am coming to help you." Watching Su Qingyan stomping angrily toward Guo Yong, I blinked playfully and smugly. Do you think there is any chance for them? Hard to say. Tang Yuxian furrowed her brows. A Yanyan is the kind of person who is very tomboyish, while Guo Yong is very wooden, and it seems he has absolutely no thoughts about dating right now either. Anyway, it is up to them. At this moment, First Treasure seemed to lose interest in searching for the birdsong. Instead, he started staring at the babbling stream nearby, calling out, "Ba, ba, ba ba." Seeing the little guy looking as if he wanted to go to the river, I picked him up and kissed his cheek.
First Treasure.
It is very dangerous by the river. Little babies can't go there. Baba. First Treasure did not care.
Wanting to go to the river.
He kept calling out continuously, helpless. I could only carry First Treasure to the riverbank and sit down, letting him look at the clear stream from up close. At this moment, a fish swam past our eyes. First Treasure instantly became excited. Ba, ba.
Oh!
Good thing we brought the strollers. At this time, Tang Yuxin took out the stroller and unfolded it. Then she came to my side, took First Treasure, and placed him inside. After repeating this, all three babies were sitting in their strollers. Tang Yuxin dipped her little feet into the river. So cold.
Hubby.
You should try it too. It is so refreshing. Of course the river water in the mountains is very cold.
Wait a sec.
What? Went to search through the luggage bags. Then I brought over a clean towel. Use this to dry your feet later, otherwise your shoes and socks will get wet. Hubby. You are so thoughtful.
Why did not I think of that?
It is so good to have you.
Hubby.
I smiled. It is because you completely do not use your brain, because you are right by my side. Hubby. So, I just do not want to use my brain anymore. Tang Yuxin turned her head to look at me, her eyes curving into crescent moons. This sudden direct hit made me laugh involuntarily. I also dipped my legs into the river. The icy cold river water submerged my feet. The coolness it brought made On feel incredibly refreshed in the scorching summer heat. There are fish.
Hubby.
Tang Yuxin exclaimed in pleasant surprise.
Watch me?
I smiled, found a pebble nearby, and then narrowed my eyes, staring at the river water.
Suddenly,
I flicked my finger violently. The small pebble tore through the air and directly struck a fish in the river. The river fish, which had been swimming happily just a second ago, instantly floated up belly first.
So amazing.
At this moment,
Guo-yong,
who had walked over, looked at me as if looking at a deity. The admiration in his heart grew even stronger, flicking pebbles like a martial arts master. Brother-in-law,
I smiled.
stood up and waded toward the center of the river. This river was very shallow. Even in the middle of the river, the water barely reached my knees. Picking up the stunned fish and tossing it onto the bank, I found a few more small pebbles and repeated the process. Before long, there were 5 or 6 more small fish on the bank. Looking at those small fish that had been knocked out, Guo-yong touched his own forehead and then shivered. Brother-in-law is too terrifying. If he were to flick a pebble at his head like that, he would probably have his head cracked open and be sent straight to the hospital. Thinking of this, Guo-yong could not help but look at me. For some unknown reason, I always gave people a feeling of being like a towering mountain. It was as if I simply did not belong to this world and could only be gazed at and looked up to from afar. I stood in front of the grill, my head lowered, focused entirely on preparing lunch for everyone. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The ingredients cooked on the grill. An appetizing aroma permeated the air. Tang Yuxin, sitting on a rock nearby, rested her chin on her hands. No matter how many times she watched, she always felt that her husband looked incredibly handsome when cooking. Su Qingyan took a large gulp of soda, her gaze fixed intently on the food on the grill. She could not even be bothered to roast Tang Yuxin anymore, because the aroma of the barbecue drifting over on the wind was simply too fragrant. Just a moment ago, Su Qingyan, because of a single roasting remark, had provoked Tang Yuxin to directly blurt out, "If you keep talking nonsense, I won't let my husband barbecue for you." This successfully sank the Su Qingyan. After sitting in the strollers for a while,
the 3 little ones
grew a bit impatient. Now that they could move around, they did not like being confined to one spot for long periods of time. They were once again placed onto the ground cloth spread over the grass. First Treasure sat on the ground cloth, looking up at me continuously, occasionally calling out, "Ba ba." Compared to First Treasure, Second Treasure and Third Treasure were much more active, but the most active one was definitely Second Treasure. A butterfly suddenly flew in front of Second Treasure. Second Treasure watched the butterfly fluttering before her, and curiously reached out her little hand,
wanting to catch it.
Of course, she could not catch it. Su Qingyan's eyes carried a look of longing. They are this cute when they can't even really talk yet. Once they can walk and run in the future, who knows how adorable these 3 little ones will be. If you like them, go have some of your own. Women always reach this point eventually. When you are young, you might feel that being alone is carefree, or that just you and your partner not having kids is fine. But when you get older, you still need a complete family. You speak as if you are so old.
You are younger than me.
Are not you? Su Qingyan rolled her eyes at Tang Yuxin in exasperation. At this time, I suddenly asked, did not Guoyong go to get the seasonings?
Why is not he back yet?
While hiking up the mountain earlier, due to an oversight, we actually forgot to bring the plastic bag containing all the various seasonings. So, I simply tossed the car keys to Guoyong and had him make a trip. Speak of the devil. Just as the words left my mouth, Guoyong came running over, panting heavily. Brother-in-law,
I
am back.
Guoyong ran up to me, handed me the seasonings, and then rested his hands on his knees, gasping for air in large gulps.
You really need to exercise your body.
How far of a walk was that?
Really?
I cast a glance at Guoyong and nimbly resumed my work. Before long, I had the barbecue ready, directly handed the first batch to Tang Yuxin. Here, have a taste.
Thank you.
Hubby. Tang Yuxin took it with a beaming smile, then pulled out a skewer, brought it to her mouth, and took a bite. It is so delicious. Beside her, Su Qingyan's drool was almost hitting the floor.
Yuxin.
My good Yuxin.
Share a little with me too.
Brother-in-law. Guo-yong felt too embarrassed to fight a woman for barbecue, so he could only stare at me pitifully. Wait your turn? I glanced at him. Few minutes later, I gave the second batch to him. Then, I started making millet porridge for the babies. 7 or 8-month-old babies had already been eating solid foods for a while. Just as I was preparing lunch for the kids, Tang Yushin came running over click-clack and offered a skewer of barbecue right to my lips. Hubby,
Come, have a taste.
you have worked hard. Thanks. Honey, barbecue given by my wife is simply the most delicious. Seeing me accept being fed by her, Tang Yuxin's eyes curved into crescent moons.
Hee.
You feed the babies.
I will feed you.
A family that loves each other, not far away.
Su Qingyan
watched the couple recklessly throwing PDA around and suddenly felt the barbecue skewer in her mouth was not so tasty anymore. At this time, Guo Young also felt embarrassed to disturb our family. He took a large handful of skewers and walked over next to Su Qingyan. I can't finish all these. Do you want to help me eat some? Su Qingyan was a foodie to begin with. Hearing about such a good deal as helping to eat unfinished food, she immediately agreed happily.
Right then.
A mouse.
Probably smelling the aroma, actually rushed over without fearing people at all. When had Su Qingyan ever seen such a situation? She was instantly so frightened, she screamed. Then, with the speed of lightning and the subtlety of someone stealing a bell with covered ears, she directly threw herself into a flying leap.
Guo Young.
There is a mouse. Before Guo Yong even had time to react, he found that Su Qingyan was already in his arms. For a moment, he was completely at a loss for what to do. Hearing Su Qingyan scream, he instantly looked over. Then I picked up a small pebble and whoosh, threw it at the mouse. Nearby, Su Qingyan and Guo Yong watched, dumbfounded.
So amazing.
Su Qingyan, who was the first to react, hurriedly pushed Guo Yong away.
I am sorry.
Panicked just now, Guo Yong also rubbed his head in embarrassment. It is fine. A pleasant and slightly eventful day passed by in the blink of an eye. The next day, I drove the car, taking everyone back to the downtown area of Shanghai. Guo Yong went straight back to the company. Su Qingyan also waved goodbye and took her leave. Hubby, what is up? Tang Yushin walked over curiously. Then she watched as I, like performing a magic trick, pulled a bouquet of flowers out from behind my back. Professor Tang. Happy holidays. Tang Yushin stared blankly for a moment, and then her brain started racing to recall what exact day it was today.
September 10th.
Teacher's Day. She looked at me standing before her, not knowing whether to laugh or cry, but she still accepted the bouquet of fresh flowers, bringing them to her nose for a sniff. They smell so good. Hubby, why are you giving me flowers? I raised an eyebrow.
Us, not today, Teacher's Day.
Are you a teacher? Am I a student?
So, what is wrong with me giving you flowers?
Well-reasoned and highly convincing. Tang Yushin shook her head helplessly and gently placed the flowers on the TV cabinet in the living room. Then she walked up to me and planted a loud kiss on my cheek. Thank you so much. Student Xiao, how do you want me to reward you? Perhaps tutoring until dawn. Tang Yuxin playfully smacked my arm, and with a silvery laugh, she headed upstairs. Watching Tang Yuxin's figure disappear up the stairs, I turned my head and immediately saw that the most fussy second treasure had run up to the TV cabinet. She was trying to pull at the flowers I had just given Tang Yuxin.
Second treasure.
You can't eat that.
If you are hungry.
It will be time to eat very soon.
Okay.
Baba.
Second treasure nodded.
Seemingly understanding yet not, but she still obediently pulled her hands back. Wow. My eyes were filled with pleasant surprise. It seemed the babies could now barely understand the meaning of some of the more complex sentences I said. Thinking of this, an idea suddenly popped into my head. Should I try taking the babies to attend early childhood education classes? After dinner, I brought this idea up to Tang Yuxin. Tang Yuxin's eyes lit up. Good idea. I saw that some babies, even at just 7 or 8 months old, already go to early childhood education classes. Our babies are over 10 months old now.
So, it should definitely be fine.
In that case, let us go give it a try this weekend. On the weekend, I drove the car, taking Tang Yuxin and the 3 little babies, and arrived at the most famous early childhood education center in Shanghai. After parking the car, the two of us pushed the 2 strollers into the lobby. As soon as we entered, the receptionist girl's eyes practically started glowing. What a beautiful family. The mom and dad's looks are off the charts, and the babies are so cute they could melt anyone's heart.
Sir? Miss?
May I ask if you...
I made an appointment yesterday for a trial class.
My last name is Xiao.
Right away. The girl quickly checked the records. After confirming it, she immediately said, Mr. Xiao, I will have someone take you upstairs right now. Walking into the classroom, I saw that there were already quite a few people there. They were all parents who brought their children. Almost all of them were women. Dads bringing their kids like me were few and far between. There were also quite a few brought by their grandparents. After all, in a place like Shanghai, for most young couples, both people need to work. Working overtime on weekends is a common occurrence. Taking care of the kids can only be entrusted to the elders. Unsurprisingly, the moment our family walked in, we immediately attracted everyone's attention. After finding a quiet corner and sitting down, Tang Yuxin and I observed the other babies in the classroom. After watching for a while, Tang Yuxin leaned close to my ear and whispered, "Hubby, our babies are definitely still the cutest." Of course, I was very proud. Tang Yuxin was not just bragging.
It was a fact.
The three little ones sat in their strollers, looking at so many people filling the classroom, and so many other babies. They widened their big, dark eyes. First treasure was as zen as ever. Third treasure was looking all around.
Second treasure,
however, was both fussy and timid. Although it feels weird describing my own child like this, many times I felt that second treasure was like a chihuahua, the kind that is super fussy and noisy, but looks like she could not win a fight against anyone. Before long, several teachers walked in. None of them looked very old. Generally, they were around Tang Yuxin's age. Even the oldest On was only in her 30s. Parents,
we are the teachers for today.
As soon as she walked in, the teacher, who looked the oldest,
began her introduction.
The benefits of early education. The significance of early education. She spoke about everything logically and systematically. Turned my head to look at Tang Yuxin. This girl was actually nodding continuously with a very serious expression. It seemed she had been successfully brainwashed again. In summary, early education is extremely useful for a child's intellectual development. We kindly ask all parents to take it seriously.
Now,
let us begin.
Could all parents please pick up their babies and place them sitting in front of you, with Tang Yuxin and me sitting like this? Having three little angels lined up in front of us, we were simply too conspicuous. These triplets, that is amazing. Mom and Dad are also very beautiful. Seeing the three little angels, the teacher could not help but gasp in admiration. Once all the children were seated, the teacher held colorful little balls and started playing songs at the front. They were children's songs that sounded incredibly childish to Tang Yuxin and me. In an instant, the attention of all the children was completely captured. Even our three babies stared unblinkingly at the teacher in front of them. More accurately, they were staring at the colorful balls shaking in the teacher's hands. Bright colors are always able to attract a baby's attention. The teachers would occasionally, following the rhythm, shake the colorful balls in front of the babies. At this point, the reactions of the three little ones were different. First treasure just stared. Second treasure shrank back somewhat fearfully. Third treasure, however, wanted to reach out her hands to touch them.
The funny thing was,
whenever the teacher stood up and second treasure saw that big colorful ball moving away from her, she would puff herself up again. A classic case of being timid but loving to play anyway. The babies, who were slightly younger than our three, did not really have any reaction. Some of the older ones, especially those over a year old, were waving their little hands along with the rhythm. When the children's songs finished playing, the teachers began leading the babies in games. All the teachers were extremely patient, guiding each child to rely on their own ability to slowly approach the slide, climb up, and then slide down with a whoosh. I kept observing our own three children. First treasure was very obedient. He adorably climbed up the slide, slid down, and crawled along the tunnel, arriving in front of me first. Then he looked back at second treasure and third treasure. Third treasure seemed to be having a bit of trouble. At the top of the slide, she did not quite dare to slide down. In the end, only with the teacher's encouragement did she muster up the courage to slide down. As for second treasure,
well,
she just straight up cried. Tang Yuxin hurriedly went over, hugged second treasure, and started coaxing her. Hubby, do you think when the babies go to kindergarten in the future, they will cry like this? I do not know about the others, but I am certain second treasure will absolutely cry.
How are we going to coax her then?
Just now, crying on the slide, second treasure's face turned completely purple. Just thinking about this gave Tang Yuxin a headache. Second treasure is really, she is just too timid. It is much better than before. If it were the second treasure from before, seeing this many people, I guarantee she would have just wailed out loud. Do you think taking the babies to these early education classes is a good idea?
Hearing my question,
Tang Yuxin thought for a moment and nodded, but very quickly, she started worrying again. Hubby, you already have to take care of the babies. If you also have to be responsible for taking them to early education classes now, won't you be too tired? Why? We'll just hand them over to the teachers. Most of the time, I will just be sitting here watching, I said with a smile. Tang Yuxian gave an oh. Then, she looked left and right.
As she looked,
Tang Yuxian realized something was wrong.
What the heck?
Why are all the other young moms in the classroom secretly looking at my husband? Even some of the teachers are doing it.
What do you all think you are doing?
Tang Yuxian's brows shot up, and her overpowering, dominant aura instantly erupted. She suddenly realized an extremely serious problem. The vast majority of those who brought kids to early education classes were women. Even though quite a few were elderly grandmothers, there were also many young, beautiful moms. And the teachers here were all very young too.
No.
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 It is too dangerous for hubby to be here. It was not that Tang Yuxian did not trust me, but Tang Yuxian was a woman herself. She knew all too well her husband's lethal attractiveness to women, especially young women. It was the kind that could instantly pierce through any defensive armor.
What is wrong?
Why did your expression suddenly get so dark, seeing Tang Yuxian looking unwell? I asked.
Full of confusion.
Hemph. Hubby. Those people are all secretly looking at you. Tang Yuxian let out a soft humph. I could not help but laugh. So my wife was actually getting jealous. But it made sense, since almost everyone here was a woman. If that is the case, then we won't bring the babies to early education classes. I will go back and learn it myself.
Once I have learned it.
We will personally teach the babies at home. In my opinion, taking babies to early education classes, aside from the so-called intellectual development, served a much bigger purpose: to cultivate the baby's habit of playing with other kids their age. But our family already had 3 little angels to begin with. They were not only children, the babies were already accustomed to being around others.
Hearing me say this,
Tang Yuxian felt sweet inside, and gently leaned her body against my arm.
He.
Hubby is the best. Then, what is my reward? I could not help but chuckle playfully. Looking up and seeing the hint of a smile on my lips, Tang Yuxian blinked her eyes. Then, how about I reward hubby with a Hu Tao Yuxian when we get back? In the end, because of Tang Yuxian's little possessive thoughts, I did not end up bringing the 3 little ones to attend early education classes. We just finished listening to the on-trial class and went home. In the blink of an eye, the Mid-Autumn Festival arrived. The night of reunion. Tang Yuxian and I decided to take the 3 kids and use this holiday to return to our hometown in Sichuan, Chongqing, to spend the festival together with our family. When the 2 of us carried the 3 kids out of the station exit, we immediately spotted my dad and the others who had come to welcome us.
Oh,
Dad,
why are you guys here?
your father-in-law and I had nothing to do.
so we just came over to pick you up.
We are all spending this mid-autumn together.
Yay.
Tang Yuxian cheered happily. In front of her father, Tang Yuxian once again turned into a little girl. I shot her a side glance.
Wife? Cut the act here.
Did First Treasure miss Grandpa?
First Treasure.
Quick. Say, Grandpa. First Treasure tilted his head and blinked at my dad.
Yi.
First Treasure called me Grandpa.
Ha ha ha.
Hearing that First Treasure actually called him right upon meeting, my dad was happier than words could describe. My father-in-law watched from the side, practically drooling with envy. He stared at Second Treasure in Tang Yuxian's arms.
Second Treasure.
Say, Grandpa Maternal. Second Treasure's head snapped away. She buried her little face in Tang Yuxian's chest and fell silent. My father-in-law felt deeply wounded.
Refusing to give up.
He went to tease First Treasure.
First Treasure.
Say, Grandpa Maternal. First Treasure looked at my father-in-law, thought about it for a second, and then haltingly spoke.
Lao?
Old duck.
Not Lao Ya.
It is Lao Ye. My father-in-law looked like he wanted to cry but had no tears left.
Dad!
Xiao Fei and I do train the 3 kids to speak normally, but right now, they are only fluent in saying daddy and mommy. This, Yi Ye and Lao Ye were just taught to them temporarily on the way here. It is already great that they can mimic it this well. Returning to our hometown, I thought of the plan to buy a villa.
Honey.
Let us go look at houses right now. Let us buy a bigger own.
That way?
When we come back for holidays and festivals, we can bring the parents from both sides over. And when the babies grow up, they will have a place to stay when they return to our hometown. Okay. Sounds great. Hearing my proposal, Tang Yuxian nodded happily. Before long, we arrived in front of a newly developed residential complex. The complex was called Sushi Hanlin. Just hearing the name, you could tell it was developed by a local developer.
As soon as we walked in,
a saleslady walked over with a bright smile on her face. Upon seeing the 2 of us, the saleslady suddenly froze. Brother Xiao.
Hearing someone call my name,
I looked up, and then it dawned on me. Oh,
It is you.
Jiang Yi.
Hello.
the saleswoman looked at me. who looked almost like a celestial being, and then looked at Tang Yuxin beside me and the 3 babies in the strollers. The corner of her mouth twitched slightly. Hubby. Who is this? Seeing a woman she did not know actually call out her husband's name, alarm bells started ringing wildly in Tang Yuxin's head. I smiled, leaned close to her ear, and whispered, "This is the daughter of one of my dad's colleagues. You could say she is a friend I have known since childhood." Growing up in the same compound, Tang Yuxin nodded expressionlessly, her imposing aura beginning to radiate.
Zhang Yi looked at me,
finding it hard to connect this perfect man standing before her with the boy next door from her memory. Although the me in her memory was also good-looking, it was not to the extent of what was before her now, where own glance was enough to make it impossible to look away. Brother Xiao.
You are married.
I am married. I showed the ring on my hand. Zhang Yi tried her best to make her smile look a bit more natural.
Why did not you let me know?
We have not held the wedding banquet yet.
When we do,
we will definitely send an invitation to Uncle Zhang.
I see.
Jiang Yi nodded,
feeling a sense of loss in her heart. Her childhood boy next door. Have not seen him for a while. Not only had he become even more outstanding, he even had a wife and kids now. Although Zhang Yi had not harbored any special feelings for me from the beginning, this sudden change of events still made her feel a bit unaccustomed.
Brother Xiao and
Big sister. Are you guys looking for a marital home? Not a marital home. We just want to buy another property here in our hometown. That is all. Another property.
Jiang Yi sharply caught the key point.
It seemed Brother Xiao not only got married and had kids, but had also become incredibly wealthy. Jiang Yi took a glance at my clothing and accessories and had a good idea.
I understand.
May I ask what requirements you and Big Sister have? Show us the villas, since we have decided to buy a bigger place. It should be a house where we can bring the parents from both sides to live together when we come back.
Hearing me say this,
naturally, we had to start choosing from the villas. Zhang Yi then led us to the architectural model of the villa area. From start to finish, Tang Yuxin clung to my arm without saying a word. Only when our eyes met from time to time did she convey a deep, lingering affection that even outsiders could clearly sense. Seeing this scene, Jiang Yi felt even more bitter in her heart. She suddenly felt like she had failed somewhat. If she had known Brother Xiao would become this outstanding, she should have acted faster back then. Brother Xiao, the houses here are the best villas in our Sushi Hanlin complex, especially this on. It has 3 floors above ground and own and basement level. After entering work mode,
Zhang Yi
quickly gathered up the complicated emotions in her heart. She began a continuous, eloquent flow of words, introducing the advantages of the house to Tang Yuxin and me. When she finished speaking, turned my head to look at Tang Yuxin.
What do you think?
It is pretty good.
Whether it is the size or the environment
or anything else,
it is very nice. Even the house itself is already fully furnished. We can move straight in without any issues. Let us go with this own. Hearing the two of them decide to buy a villa so simply, Jiang Yi was still a bit dazed. Brother Xiao, you are buying it.
Yes. What is wrong?
Commission is knocking on your door, and you do not want it.
I smiled.
No.
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 That is not it. I mean, we will immediately go and fight for the maximum discount for you. Seeing Jiang Yi about to go find the manager here, I added another sentence.
Oh. Right?
We will be paying in full. Understood.
Jiang Yi nodded.
Paying in full for a house. Generally speaking, developers and salespeople do not really like it because they make quite a bit less money that way. Before long, hearing that a customer had appeared who wanted to pay in full upfront for the best villa in their complex, the supervisor in the sales hall practically ran over, taking 2 steps at a time. After several rounds of negotiation, plus Zhang Yi helping out from the side, they really did manage to get me quite a few discounts. It allowed me to buy this villa in full, for a price of over 4 million. Over 4 million to buy a large villa in Sichuan, Chongqing. If this were Shanghai, let alone a villa, you would not necessarily even be able to buy an ordinary 100 square meter apartment. The housing prices in the 2 places truly had a massive disparity.
You bought a house?
Returning home and hearing what Tang Yuxin and I said, my dad and mom were full of surprise.
Yeah.
I nodded. A house, even if we buy it and do not live in it, it can serve as a fixed asset. Besides, when the babies grow up, when we come back, we can't all squeeze in here with you mom and dad. Right? Buying a big house means that when we come back for New Year's and holidays in the future,
You mom and dad.
and Yuxin's mom and dad can all come over and stay together. Our whole big family being lively and bustling together. It's not that great. My explanation made my dad and mom nod repeatedly.
Finally,
My mom said excitedly,
Let us go.
Let us go.
Let us go.
Take a look.
I have never seen a big villa before.
I heard you, and Yushin live in a grand mansion in Shanghai.
But we have never seen it. No matter what. We have to see the own you bought here this time. It is just a house.
Mom. If you guys like it.
You can just move in. Anyway. Xiao Fei. And I will only stay there when we come back.
No.
My dad waved his hand.
Rejecting Tang Yushin's proposal.
Your mom and I are used to this place. Our old buddies are all in this compound. Moving there would actually make us feel unaccustomed. However, even so, regarding seeing the new house, the two of them were still full of interest, including Tang Yuxin's parents. After hearing about this, they also tagged along. After all, the original intention of buying this house was also for them to stay in it. When they saw the villa Tang Yuxin and I had bought, the four elders gasped in continuous admiration, although its luxury could not compare to Tang Yuxin's and my villa in Xingyue Bay, Shanghai. The environment of this villa was extremely secluded and elegant.
Such a big house.
Maintaining it will be so much trouble. My mom started to worry. And you guys won't come back often. Leaving such a nice house empty all the time is such a waste.
So, Mom?
Why do not you all just live here? Tang Yuxin said with a smile. However, neither my mom nor my mother-in-law agreed. The reason my father-in-law and mother-in-law refused was exactly the same as my parents. How about this? My mom finally said, when you are planning to come back in the future, just let us know in advance. I will come over and help you clean up and prepare the house.
I will come help too.
My mother-in-law said with a smile, since that is the case, from now on, we will just periodically hire part-time cleaners to come and do the cleaning. That way, it will make it much easier for you moms when you come to tidy up. I finally made the final decision. But tonight, let us all stay here. It is fully equipped with everything anyway. Bedding and all that are already prepared. We can move right in. And we can even have a barbecue in that big yard. Sounds great. My mom clapped her hands, clearly looking forward to it very much. It is the perfect opportunity for everyone to admire the moon and celebrate Mid-Autumn Festival together.
That night,
the two families were in the courtyard of the villa, chatting happily. I stood in front of the barbecue grill, continuously making barbecue for the four elders and Tang Yuxin. Before long, Second Treasure came running over again. Baba. Meat. I gently rubbed Second Treasure's head.
Second Treasure.
You are still too little.
You can't eat meat. Meat.
You won't be able to chew it.
Meat.
Second Treasure clearly was not listening. That expression looked like she would burst into loud wails if I disagreed. Now I was in a tough spot. Yesterday's clear broth beef was own thing, but today's was barbecue. How could a little kid eat this? If she ate it, she would definitely get an upset stomach.
Second Treasure.
Bay, a good girl. We will eat meat when we grow up.
Okay.
Seeing that Second Treasure showed no sign of leaving even after a while, I could only continue coaxing her. Hee. Hubby, this is when you should be properly thanking me for my quick wit. Tang Yuxin leaned over, smiling mischievously. Then she pulled out something the size of a fingernail, resembling a soft gummy candy. Specially prepared this. It is meat the babies can eat. It melts in the mouth. Even the little ones can eat it. Tang Yuxin deliberately emphasized the word meat.
Second Treasure,
as well as First Treasure and Third Treasure who had followed, immediately had their eyes light up upon hearing this. Meat. They called out again. Come. First Treasure.
Second Treasure.
Third Treasure. Mommy will give you meat to eat. Daddy won't give you meat. But Mommy will. Daddy is a bad guy.
He.
However, hearing Tang Yuxin say this, the three little ones hesitated. A long while later, First Treasure pouted his little mouth. Baba. Not a bad guy. These little guys were being way too protective of me. Hearing this, the four adults chatting nearby all showed expressions of amazement. They are only over 10 months old. Right. They are this smart already. Many little kids, even at 10 months, only know how to say mommy and daddy. Our family's three little angels. Not only could they understand the complex sentence Tang Yuxin just said, they could even rebut it. As a teacher, my father-in-law was overjoyed. It seems my three little grandchildren will all be little geniuses in the future. We probably won't even need to worry about their studies. I stared at the three little ones thoughtfully. Could it be that I am going to raise
three monstrous geniuses?
I shook my head. Tossing these strange thoughts out of my mind, I started laughing. Who cares? The smarter the babies are, the happier
their dad
will be. The Mid-Autumn Festival spent by the two families together was warm and joyful. The 3-day Mid-Autumn holiday also came to an end in a flash. After the Mid-Autumn Festival, our family returned to Shanghai. Tang Yuxin resumed going to the university every day to teach her students. Meanwhile, I began self-studying early childhood education courses. Few months later, Tang Yuxian's birthday was coming up very soon, but the matter of what gift to give her had left me stumped for a moment, left with absolutely no other choice. I could only turn to Yuxian's best friend,
Su Qingyan,
for help, but I discovered that I actually did not have her contact information. Little did I expect that simply by using some connections to obtain her contact info, something totally unexpected would happen to me. Mr. Wang, is there something the matter?
at this moment,
Su Qingyan,
who was slacking off at work, looked at Mr. Wang with a face full of confusion. Mr. Wang looked at Su Qingyan with a complex gaze. Then he smiled and said, "It is like this. Someone is specifically looking for you." When Su Qingyan followed Mr. Wang all the way to his office, only to see that it was completely empty, her brows unconsciously furrowed. What kind of new pickup tactic is this? After Su Qingyan was called away, the colleagues in the office immediately started whispering and discussing.
Why do you guys think Mr. Wang is looking for Su Qingyan?
Hard to say. I felt like Mr. Wang's attitude towards Su Qingyan just now was a bit different. Could it be?
What are you thinking?
Mr. Wang has a girlfriend. I just feel like Mr. Wang's attitude towards Su Qingyan was almost respectful. Do you guys think Su Qingyan might be some wealthy heiress out here experiencing ordinary life? The discussion in the office, Su Qingyan was completely unaware of. At this moment, she was using a suspicious and somewhat guarded gaze to look at the man called Mr. Wang. Mr. Wang's name was Wang Jingpeng, and he was already 40 years old. With his seasoned gaze,
Wang Jingpeng
naturally saw the wariness in Su Qingyan's eyes. He smiled, invited Su Qingyan to sit on the sofa nearby, and then personally brewed a cup of tea for her. This action made Su Qingyan even more guarded. Owen, who is unaccountably solicitous, hiding evil intentions. Mr. Wang, may I ask what this is about?
Wang Jingpeng carefully weighed his words.
Then he cautiously asked,
Su,
"Do you happen to know Mr. Xiao?" Mr. Xiao, for a moment, Su Qingyan did not process it. Which Mr. Xiao? Mr. Xiao Fei. When mentioning me, a flash of reverence passed through Wang Jingpeng's eyes. The largest shareholder of JP Morgan Chase Asia Pacific. How could Wang Jingpeng not revere such a status? On the other side,
Su Qingyan was stunned.
Xiao Fei,
Tang Yuxian's husband. She slapped her forehead.
Oh, you mean him?
I know him.
Wang Jingpeng keenly noticed that Su Qingyan's attitude when mentioning me was incredibly casual. It was as if she were talking about a very ordinary friend. This made Wang Jingpeng even more respectful towards Su Qingyan. So, Su and Mr. Xiao do know each other. At the same time, a trace of doubt rose in his heart. Since they knew each other, why did not they even have each other's phone numbers? To the point where I actually had people investigate all the way down the chain just to notify him. When things are abnormal, there must be a reason. Could it be that Mr. Xiao has taken a liking to this mess?
Su,
But the two of them actually are not very close. While Wang Jingpeng's mind was spinning with all sorts of thoughts, Su Qingyan was also full of questions. What is the deal with Xiao Fei? Looking at Wang Jingpeng's attitude when speaking of him, that guy was seriously powerful. Su Qingyan knew that I was very wealthy, perhaps even wealthy beyond her imagination. But as for what specific identities I held, Su Qingyan had no idea, and she was not interested either. Right at that moment, Su Qingyan's phone rang. Su Qingyan took out her phone to look. It was an unknown number. Su Qingyan answered the call.
hello, the great beauty Su.
It really was not easy finding you. My voice came through the phone. Su Qingyan was instantly so angry, she laughed. Xiao Fei, what is the meaning of this? How did you get my number? I am warning you. If you dare do anything to Yushin. Hey. What are you thinking?
Listen to me first.
Will you? Immediately interrupted her spellcasting. It is like this. Yuxin's birthday is coming up. I am racking my brain trying to prepare a surprise for her. You know, she basically lacks nothing right now. I have thought till my head hurts, and still do not know what to do.
So, I just wanted to ask you for some suggestions.
For example,
Is there something she particularly likes?
but does not have at the moment.
Or something like that.
Only then did Su Qingyan realize what had actually happened, but she still asked,
Hold on.
let us put that aside for a second. How did you find my phone number?
Well,
I had someone look into you.
I am sorry.
As an apology,
I will send you a gift after this is over. You can scold me however you want. Storming into my house and pointing a finger at my nose to curse me out is fine too. After all, I really was in the wrong for doing this. But please, you absolutely must keep this a secret until Yuxin's birthday. Su Qingyan rolled her eyes. In her heart, she was both annoyed and amused, but at the same time, she became even more envious of Tang Yuxin. This husband of hers, just to make her happy, had truly racked his brains. He even did not hesitate to offend her for it. No need for a gift.
You have got quite the capabilities.
Have not you? She glanced at Wang Jingpeng beside her. So, that is how it is. This Xiao Fei seems to have a super mysterious identity.
I will have to think about this.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head over the phone. How about this? Add me on WeChat.
It is this number.
We will message you after I get off work.
Deal. Seeing Su Qingyan agree, hung up the phone on the other end. Su Qingyan stared dumbfounded at her phone, which was already emitting a beep 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 dial tone. What kind of logic does this man have? Investigating me out of nowhere and calling me his own thing. After all, it is to celebrate Yuxin's birthday, but hanging up the phone with a click the moment he is done talking. He really just completely disregards anyone who is not his wife. Does not he? Mr. Wang, you were the one who gave Xiao Fei my number. Right. Su Qingyan looked at Wang Jingpeng nearby.
Wang Jingpeng nodded.
I am very sorry.
Ims? Su.
About this matter, forget it.
Forget it?
It is no big deal. He is my best friend's husband. He was trying to figure out what surprise to give his wife for her birthday. He could not think of anything. So he tracked me down. Only then did Wang Jingpeng realize that he seemed to have misunderstood something from the very beginning. However, hearing Su Qingyan say this, that mysterious Mr. Xiao was actually quite a romantic person. Mr. Wang, if there is nothing else,
I will go back to work now.
there is nothing else. Nothing else.
Su.
Please go ahead with your work. Looking at Wang Jingpeng's respectful demeanor toward her, Su Qingyan narrowed her eyes, clicking her high heels. She walked out of the office. It felt like, after this whole ordeal, it was not entirely without benefits for her either, at the very least. From now on in the company, this Mr. Wang would probably never dare to offend her.
Right.
She never expected that one day she would actually be riding on the coattails of that girl. Yuxin. That evening, Tang Yuxin was curled up in the living room watching TV. At this moment, she was holding a bag of potato chips in her arms, crunching away happily. I was nearby taking care of the 3 babies.
They played.
The attention of the little ones shifted to Tang Yuxin. The babies waddled over to Tang Yuxin's side, resting their little hands on the edge of the sofa. They all looked up at Tang Yuxin, sticking out their little tongues and licking their lips from time to time.
Mama. Second treasure spoke up.
Tang Yuxin looked at the 3 little ones surrounding her, and then looked at the potato chips they were staring at. She quickly and nimbly spread her empty hands. Babies? All gone. The little ones revealed aggrieved expressions. First treasure pouted his little mouth, and said in a milky,
baby voice,
Ma.
lying. Tang Yuxin glanced at the very last bit of potato chips left, and hurriedly stuffed them all into her mouth in one go. Then she spread her hands again. There. They are really all gone now.
Wah.
Second treasure started wailing. Golden teardrops fell from the corners of her eyes owned by An. Amused, I walked over, picked up second treasure, and sat down next to Tang Yuxin, then picked up the other 2 little ones as well, and placed them on the sofa.
Be a good girl. Second treasure.
Do not cry. Little kids can't eat these things. Second treasure did not care about that. Baba is biased.
Likes mama.
Does not like babies. I pinched second treasure's cheek. That is not true. Daddy likes mommy. And I like you 3 too. All 4 of you are daddy's absolute favorites.
Saying this?
I shot an exasperated look at Tang Yuxin. Look at you.
You can't lie to the babies.
Tang Yuxin stuck out her tongue, trying to bluff her way through. She hurriedly pulled out the melt-in-the-mouth baby snacks she had prepared for them. Babies. Mommy was wrong just now. Mommy should not have lied to you. But you really can't eat that. Here. Eat this instead. The little ones just saw their mommy eating snacks, so they wanted to eat something too.
That was all.
It was not that they genuinely insisted on eating the exact same thing as Tang Yuxin.
seeing that there was food,
They instantly stopped fussing. At this moment, I suddenly felt my phone vibrate. Taking it out to look, I found it was a message from Su Qingyan. So, I discreetly turned my body slightly, ensuring Tang Yuxin could not see the screen. Only then did I open the message. I found that Su Qingyan had sent a whole bunch of cosmetics. Do you think Yuxin still needs these?
you are right.
Speaking of which, how exactly do you raise your wife? She is too ridiculously beautiful. Since gifting these won't work. Then, next, Su Qingyan began continuously giving me various suggestions. On the other side, Tang Yuxin saw me constantly looking at my phone, blinking her eyes. She became suspicious.
What is hubby doing?
Looking at him. It seems like he is chatting with someone.
Hubby. What are you doing?
Oh.
Checking stocks instantly set Su Qingyan's WeChat to do not disturb so new messages would not pop up notifications. Then I switched out and opened the stock market interface. Tang Yuxian leaned over to take a look and found that it was indeed the case, so she did not overthink it. However, while later, she unintentionally saw my fingers constantly tapping on the screen. That clearly was not looking at stocks. That was typing. In an instant, all sorts of cliché TV drama plots played out in Tang Yuxian's mind. A very ominous feeling washed over her heart. Hubby is chatting with someone behind my back. Does he have someone else outside? Although Tang Yuxian was confident that with her looks, few women could compare to her. What if her husband had gotten bored of looking at her face every day? Thinking about it, Tang Yuxian looked at the 3 babies again.
Woo-woo.
Babies? Mommy feels like she is going to be neglected by daddy. Thinking about it, Tang Yuxian's face began to turn cold. The 8-foot-tall imposing aura, which was originally only directed at outsiders, erupted. I was suddenly startled. I felt like the surrounding temperature seemed to be dropping.
Looking up,
I noticed my wife's face. Cold as frost.
Wife!
You. Instantly, the frost on Tang Yuxian's face completely melted away. She offered me a smile as beautiful as a blooming flower. An illusion. I felt like my wife was acting weird just now. Seeing me go back to looking at my phone, Tang Yuxian felt her scalp tingle. It is over. It is over. Hubby really does have someone else. But that is not right. Who chats with their mistress without hiding it from their wife, and even sits right next to her while doing it. I need to trust hubby.
Yuxian.
No An can be more outstanding than you. It is just that. I still really want to know what hubby is actually doing. Is he really chatting with another woman or not?
I want to ask so badly.
But what if it is a misunderstanding? All sorts of thoughts bombarded Tang Yuxian's mind, leaving her feeling flustered and confused for a moment. Right at that moment, Tang Yuxian suddenly felt herself being pulled into an embrace by me. Turning her head to look, I placed my hand on her forehead.
Are you not feeling well?
The concern in my eyes could not be faked. Was the same as always. A gentleness that made Tang Yuxian completely intoxicated, making her dizzy and completely give up thinking. Hubby. Tang Yuxian suddenly felt like crying. She hugged me tightly. Will you ever decide you do not want me anymore? I tapped Tang Yuxian on the head. I finally figured out what the problem was. She was probably suspecting I had someone else outside. Looking at the extremely downcast Tang Yuxian, my heart ached with pangs of pain. I sighed. What am I going to do with you? I was originally trying to keep it a secret to give you a surprise.
You silly girl.
I straightened Tang Yuxian's posture.
Your birthday is coming up. I have been getting a headache trying to prepare a gift for you.
But I could not think of anything. So I had to track her down and secretly found Su Qingyan's contact info to ask her for advice.
As I spoke,
I showed Tang Yuxian my chat log with Su Qingyan. Experiencing such massive emotional ups and downs, Tang Yuxian stared blankly at me. Finally, her face grew redder and redder. She really had misunderstood. Looking at Tang Yuxian, who was holding her face in her hands, with steam seemingly about to rise from her head, I tapped her on the head again. Half the surprise has already been revealed. If I say any more, it will ruin the fun. Tang Yuxian gave an "oh" and leaned in playfully with a giggle.
I won't look. I won't look.
I will close my eyes.
You keep looking.
You keep looking. My eyes are already closed. Before long, the day of my wife Tang Yuxian's birthday finally arrived. When the 7-tier cake was delivered, seeing such a massive cake, the babies all widened their eyes. Ba.
What is this?
I smiled.
This is a birthday present for mommy. When the time comes, everyone can eat it together. Eat together. That meant it was edible. The little ones looked at each other, and their gazes toward the cake began to turn peculiar. Seeing them looking eager to make a move, I said with a chuckle, "You can't eat it right now. This cake needs mommy to take the first bite. Understand?" Oh. The 3 babies raised their hands in unison and replied, but they were clearly still craving it. Mr. Xiao, according to your plan, the preliminary setup has been completed. How does this look to you? At this moment, the female supervisor from the property management walked over. The entire villa had been decorated exceptionally magnificently. All sorts of wines, beverages, and food had also been fully arranged. But the most eye-catching thing, naturally, was the area in the massive living room leading to the garden. A metal frame had been erected there. The frame was draped with a layer of white cloth, completely concealing the space inside. When the time came, the band Maroon 5 would perform inside, and when the song reached its climax, the white cloth would suddenly be pulled down, giving Yuxin a massive surprise.
Right at this moment?
Me 3 roommates arrived. As soon as they walked into the living room, Zhang Bo and the other 2 gasped repeatedly.
My God.
Brother Xiao. Your life is way too luxurious. This is outrageous. Behind our backs, you are living such an incredible life. I am dying of envy. Looking at the magnificent scene before them, even Zhang Bo, who came from a relatively wealthy family and planned to inherit the family business after graduation, was looking at it with jealousy.
I looked at them, puzzled.
You guys did not have classes this afternoon. We are seniors now, and it is the end of the semester. What classes are there to take? It is only because you never come to campus that you do not know. Wu Zitao chuckled mischievously. His gaze landed on the maids coming and going inside the villa, who were responsible for tonight's party. These maids were all arranged by the property management. Each one was youthful and beautiful, wearing iconic black and white maid outfits. The three guys' eyes were practically glued to them. Stop staring.
What are you thinking about?
Seeing their unblinking gazes, I could not help but speak up.
I am just looking.
Oh my god.
Brother Xiao.
No.
Dad. Hearing Liu Chao shamelessly call me dad, a string of question marks immediately popped up over the heads of the three little ones nearby. Never seen this guy before. Is he also Baba's baby? Do not spout nonsense. Immediately slapped Liu Chao. Me kids are still here. I would not mind being their older brother. Liu Chao went he. Looking completely unserious, my gaze shifted back and forth between Guo Yang and Su Qingyan. My eyes gradually became teasing. Speaking of which, ever since that camping trip, it seemed these two had been secretly flirting behind everyone's backs.
What are you standing there for?
Go inside. Su Qingyan slapped Guo Yang quite unceremoniously, and then strode inside carelessly. Immediately following that, she let out a weird shriek.
You
actually managed to invite Maroon 5. Handsome Xiao. No. Grandpa Xiao. Ancestor Xiao. You are way too amazing.
Are not you?
Watching Su Qingyan making a huge fuss.
Hollering at the members of Maroon 5 to get their autographs for her, I turned my head to look at Guo Yang. You are not going to rein her in. The corner of Guo Yang's mouth twitched. I do not dare. Looking at this family dynamic, I could tell at a glance that it was completely incomparable to my own. Finally, evening arrived. The star of the show, Tang Yuxin, finally returned home, immediately arranged for the members of Maroon 5 and the related staff to rest in the room next door for the time being. As her car passed by the garden outside the villa, Tang Yuxin had already seen the newly decorated garden. Filled with anticipation, she parked the car and then led the others into the living room, accompanying the sound of the door opening. Tang Yuxin, standing at the front, suddenly saw a massive amount of confetti spray out from both sides of the door. Happy birthday. Covering her mouth, Tang Yuxin brought Zhang Yu
and Tong,
and several other colleagues into the living room.
Wow.
This is incredible. This is actually a birthday party. Oh my god. This setup is amazing. Truly amazing. Everyone here was a teacher at Shanghai Jiaotong University. Some were even professors, so they were not exactly swearing left and right in shock. But the astonishment on their faces was plain to see. Clearly, their hearts were far from calm, and the gazes they directed at Tang Yuxin were incredibly envious. Hubby, did you prepare all of this? Tang Yuxin walked up to me, her face full of pleasant surprise, and asked. I hugged her and said softly,
that is right.
Also, this is not the real surprise yet. There is something you will love even more coming up later.
Mm-hmm.
Tang Yuxin nodded. I am really looking forward to it.
She gently kissed my cheek.
Drawing a chorus of teasing laughter from everyone, I said in a clear voice,
welcome,
everyone, to the birthday party of my wife, the mother of my children, Tang Yuxin. All the wines, beverages,
snacks,
and pastries, please feel free to help yourselves.
Hubby,
what is that?
I saw that Tang Yuxin,
as expected,
had taken an interest in the prepared stage covered by the white cloth. She even wanted to slip behind the cloth to investigate. I quickly stopped her.
Honey,
wait a minute. Inside, here is the biggest surprise for you today. You will only find out later.
Hearing me say this,
even though her heart was itching with curiosity like a cat scratching it, Tang Yuxin held herself back. At this moment, the three little ones waddled over. Baba. Second treasure looked up at me and then pointed at the cake. The little ones had been craving it for a long time.
Now that mommy was back,
could they eat the cake now? We still have to wait a little bit longer. My words made the little ones feel extremely aggrieved. A short while later, the party officially began. The top-tier barbecue chefs arranged by the property management set up their grills in the garden. I walked up to Tang Yuxin and pulled out a small red gift box. Music also began to play inside the villa.
Your birthday present.
Wow.
Everyone immediately looked over. Their eyes were fixed intently on the box. They were also curious about what was inside. Tang Yuxin blinked her eyes. Can I open it now? Hubby. I nodded. It is your birthday present. Of course you can open it.
So,
Tang Yuxin slowly opened the box. Resting quietly inside was a gemstone necklace. Owen glance was enough to tell that it was incredibly expensive to make. Tang Yuxin did not ask about the price. Even if I gave her a cheap trinket from a street stall, she would still be very happy. Can you put it on for me?
hubby. All right.
I took the necklace and put it around Tang Yuxin's neck. It is so beautiful.
Yuxin.
I am dying of jealousy. Su Qingyan leaned over and stared at Tang Yuxin's necklace for a while.
Was not cheap.
Was it?
Did not cost much. No one believed my answer. Here. This is my present. Su Qingyan pulled out a box. Everyone who had prepared a gift came forward to present theirs. Before long, Tang Yuxin was holding a huge pile of small boxes in her arms. There were too many gifts, so Tang Yuxin did not open them on by on. She planned to enjoy the fun of unboxing them after the party was over. Time to cut the cake. At this time, I had the maid slowly roll the cake over. Candles had already been lit on the top tier of the cake. Make a wish. Honey. Tang Yuxin happily faced the cake stand, closed her eyes, and made a wish. Then she opened her eyes and blew out all the candles in own breath. Everyone immediately clapped. Seeing the maids starting to distribute the cake, the little ones were undoubtedly the most anxious. However, they were too young. I took 3 small plates and gave each little one a very small piece of cake, and it was mostly just diced fruit and cream on top. The babies got their cake and happily waddled over to the side,
Sat in a row,
and began eating earnestly. It was exactly at this moment that the background music that had been playing finished. A new song started playing. The moment the music started, Tang Yuxin realized what it was.
Wow.
It is actually Sugar. This was a song with a very upbeat rhythm. When the singing began, Tang Yuxin could not help but nod her head lightly to the beat. Jiang Yu said enthusiastically, "Handsome Xiao, what exactly is behind this white cloth? You are being so mysterious about it." I chuckled playfully. "Come here. Honey. Come over here." Tang Yuxin walked over to my side.
I had her stand in the front,
facing the white cloth. Everyone knew the mystery was about to be revealed. Even those who had arrived early in the afternoon and already knew about the surprise were also feeling the anticipation building up at this moment. When the song reached its climax, the white cloth crashed down. The lead singer of Maroon 5, holding a microphone, was singing his heart out to the suddenly dumbfounded Tang Yuxin in front of him. This was not just background music playing. This was actually inviting Maroon 5 over for a live performance. Tang Yuxin covered her mouth, her eyes wide open, looking at Maroon 5, listening to them sing right in front of her. She finally could not maintain her composure and let out a scream of pure pleasant surprise. It is Maroon 5. Among those present, besides Tang Yuxin, there were others who were fans of Maroon 5. At the very least, I heard several people screaming together. Almost everyone pulled out their phones and started frantically taking pictures of the scene before them. Jiang Yu was clearly also a fan of Maroon 5. She hugged Tang Yuxin and shook her vigorously. If the band was not currently performing, she would absolutely not be able to control herself from rushing the stage. Yuan Tong had a smile on her face, shaking her head continuously. Now, this is true extravagance. If a man ever did something like this for me, I could die with no regrets. Tang Yuxin was naturally incredibly excited too. Her whole body was trembling, but Tang Yuxin knew her status. She was married. She was my wife. Even though her formerly favorite band was standing right in front of her, she controlled her emotions very well. Tang Yuxin covered her mouth, tears sparkling in her eyes, as she looked at the band on the stage.
Hubby. Thank you.
I smiled.
What are you thanking me for?
This was actually Su Qingyan's suggestion. Do not say that.
Su Qingyan immediately rebutted.
I was just joking.
Okay.
I never thought this guy would actually be able to invite them over for real. My worldview has already been shattered. After finishing the song, Adam Levine snapped his fingers and, using the Chinese he had just learned, said with a heavy accent,
"Happy birthday."
Undisturbs.
Underscore.
Ooh.
Tang.
Then, he repeated it in English. Thank you. After replying with a thank you, Tang Yuxin exchanged a few brief words with them, thanking them for bringing the team over to celebrate her birthday.
I smiled.
Babies, today is Mommy's birthday. You babies have not wished Mommy a happy birthday yet. The three little ones blinked their eyes, following what I had secretly taught them. The three little ones said in unison,
Ma ma.
Happy birthday.
Tang Yuxin was instantly moved to tears.
Thank you.
Hubby. Thank you.
Me three darlings. Few months later, the babies had grown quite a bit again. They could say even more words now. But as the babies slowly grew up, early education became a headache for my wife, Tang Yuxin. I am their mother. After all, as a mother, how can I give up just because taking care of babies is hard?
Hubby,
You managed to get through all this time by yourself.
I can do it too.
Then do your best. I gave Tang Yuxin an encouraging look. Just you wait and see. Tang Yuxin proudly lifted her head, returning to the nursery. Tang Yuxin mustered her courage and sat down amongst the babies. Come here, babies. Mommy will play with you. First Treasure looked up, cast a glance at Tang Yuxin, and then let out a faint sigh. Hey! First Treasure, what do you mean by that? Are you looking down on Mommy? First Treasure, why are you sighing? First Treasure pouted his little mouth and used extremely brief yet devastatingly lethal words to answer. Ma is silly. Tang Yuxin was instantly enraged. She was a highly educated talent who had studied abroad and graduated with her Ph. several years early, and now she was actually being called silly by a kid who was just over a year old. Even if this little kid was her own child, that still crossed the line. First Treasure, Mommy is actually very smart.
If you have any questions,
just ask away.
First Treasure gave her a faint look and then said, nothing. Asterisk, I feel like I am being completely despised by First Treasure.
Asterisk.
Tang Yuxin felt a deep sense of defeat. At this moment, Third Treasure waddled over and threw herself into Tang Yuxin's arms. Ma, can play with Ducky with me.
Very good.
Third Treasure is such a good girl. Mommy will play games with you. Tang Yuxin immediately beamed with joy. Even though she was despised by First Treasure, Third Treasure was still very well behaved.
Wanting Mommy to play with her?
Few minutes later.
Ma.
Wrong.
Third Treasure looked at Tang Yuxin holding a little duck, compared it with the duck in her own hand, and immediately shook her head. Dis ducky flies. A completely bewildered Tang Yuxin successfully earned a resentful glare from Third Treasure. After hitting a wall with Third Treasure, Tang Yuxin looked towards Second Treasure again. Second Treasure was currently commanding Little Bee over there. Wherever she pointed her finger, Little Bee would flutter over, and then let out a asterisk goo, ya asterisk. Second Treasure was having the time of her life. It seemed she did not need her mother at all. Tang Yuxin looked around and realized she had failed completely once again. After a while longer, the babies suddenly all stopped playing. Pairs of eyes stared straight at Tang Yuxin. First Treasure said Owen phrase. Class time. Tang Yuxin felt a bit creeped out being stared at like that. Class.
What class?
Second Treasure gestured with her hands, trying to explain something. Ba, class every day. Gooya. After a strenuous bout of communication with the babies for quite a while, Tang Yuxin finally understood. Every afternoon, after the babies had played for a bit, would give them their early education lessons. Over all this time, the babies had already formed a habit. That was why they stopped playing just now and asked for class. Tang Yuxin immediately patted her chest and said, today, Mommy will do it. It is just early education. Right? How hard can educating little babies be? Just singing, dancing, and playing games with them will do the trick. So, about 10 minutes later, Tang Yuxin, radiating a terrifyingly low-pressure aura, pushed open the door. Looking completely dead inside, she stumbled out, swaying with every step. I looked at Tang Yuxin, who appeared as if she had own foot in the grave and was nearing her end, and was startled.
What is wrong with you?
Honey! Tang Yuxin saw me and forced a twitch of her lips. Hubby, I feel like I might not be cut out to be a teacher, as a university professor. She had suffered a severe blow today. I looked confused, but quickly realized. You gave the babies an early education class. Tang Yuxin nodded. And then grief overcame her. I was despised. The babies actually called me childish. I sang nursery rhymes with them and got despised. I looked surprised. Who told you to sing nursery rhymes? Tang Yuxin looked at me as if it were the most natural thing in the world.
Not that what early education is?
I sighed.
The three kids have to be taught differently. The things First Treasure is interested in are very strange. He is exceptionally precocious. For him, You need to tell educational stories that a 5 or 6-year-old would understand. First Treasure prefers listening to various historical stories. I am even planning that in a little while.
I will start teaching First Treasure Pinyin.
Tang Yuxian was in disbelief. A baby just over a year old likes that kind of stuff. Can he even understand it? No wonder the babies looked at her with such disdain just now. Third Treasure's mind is exceptionally imaginative and unconstrained. She also likes listening to stories, but leans towards fairy tales. Usually weave into the fairy tales some foundational knowledge and various life lessons.
What about Second Treasure then?
Tang Yuxin felt it was strange. After First Treasure, I skipped straight to Third Treasure.
What about Second Treasure?
Second treasure is a bit more troublesome.
I do not know if it is because she is different from the other two babies, but that child actually likes to draw. You have to look at Second Treasure's drawings, which look like Picasso. After chugging 10 pounds of erguto liquor in on breath, drew with his feet while blindfolded, and figure out what she is trying to express from those bizarre scribbles.
Then,
you give an evaluation and encouragement. If what you say is even slightly different from what Second Treasure was thinking, that little girl will throw a tantrum. Tang Yuxin swallowed hard. She did not know whether to say the babies were geniuses, or that her husband was a deity. Tang Yuxin personally observed me giving the 3 kids their early education lessons. After watching an entire session, Tang Yuxin suddenly felt a surge of grief and indignation. The babies are geniuses, that is great. Daddy is a deity, that is a source of pride. But only she, their mother, felt like an absolute noob.
It seemed her PH
was completely useless.
no.
No.
I can't keep sinking like this.
Yuxin.
Tang Yuxin slapped her cheeks hard. She was a very stubborn person. In the past, whenever she encountered difficulties, she never backed down. She made a decision. She was definitely going to become an excellent mother, who, just like me, could handle taking care of the 3 babies with ease. Over the next few days, Tang Yuxin worked hard to interact with the kids. From being incredibly difficult at the beginning, it gradually became relatively easier. Few days later, Tang Yuxin was barely able to handle the pestering of the 3 kids simultaneously. And in terms of early education, Tang Yuxin's progress was also tremendous. First Treasure and Third Treasure quickly accepted Tang Yuxin's early education classes, but only Second Treasure. I really can't understand it.
Hubby,
Who can tell me what these crooked squiggles in the sketchbook are?
Did not I tell you already?
I patted Tang Yuxin, amused. Second Treasure's drawings look like Picasso after chugging 10 pounds of erguto, drawing with his feet while blindfolded.
Right?
I think you might have been wrong.
hubby,
Tang Yuxin's tone was exceptionally resentful. That was not drawn by a drunk Picasso with his feet while blindfolded. She literally just splashed ink directly onto the canvas. I chuckled playfully. If Second Treasure could understand that,
she would cry.
you know. Tang Yuxin was startled and subconsciously turned her head to look at the crib. Seeing that the 3 kids were sleeping peacefully, she finally breathed a sigh of relief. Hubby,
You scared me?
Tang Yuxin became curious again. Hubby, how exactly do you understand them? Why is it that every time you can perfectly articulate what Second Treasure is thinking? It is very simple. I snapped my fingers. The babies do not go out much. The world's Second Treasure comes into contact with is only this big. It is impossible for a person to draw something they have never encountered before. Since Second Treasure's circle of life is only this big, what she draws most are the various things at home,
As well as us.
her parents. More accurately, Mommy and Daddy are what she draws most often. Next are the little ones themselves, and finally, the other objects in the house. Following this clue, be making educated guesses. You can basically get it right.
Listening to this?
Tang Yuxin nodded continuously.
Mm-hmm.
That does seem to make a lot of sense.
As expected of my husband.
You are so smart. It is like you are possessed by Detective Conan. Seeing the light return to Tang Yuxin's eyes, I chuckled playfully. Do you feel like you can do it again? Of course I can. Tang Yuxin let out a cute humph. She was not going to admit defeat. Time quickly approached the end of the lunar year again. This time, returning home for the new year was different from the last time when the babies were still exceptionally small.
Last time,
The ones enjoying the new year atmosphere were really just us adults. This time, even the babies could enjoy the fun of the new year together. Before we arrived home, my mom and mother-in-law had already tidied up the villa I bought on Dongpo Island in Sichuan, Chongqing. Soon as our family returned, we could move right in, and the parents from both sides had also been brought over. Originally, the discussion was to alternate visiting each family every new year, so that Tang Yuxin and I,
A married couple
could reunite and spend New Year's Eve with both sides of the family. But since I had bought a big house in Sichuan, Chongqing, rather than running back and forth, it was much more convenient to spend the new year at my place every year, and there was plenty of room for everyone. On New Year's Eve, in the living room, the Spring Festival Gala was playing on the TV. The elders were chatting while snacking on melon seeds. Tang Yuxian sat beside them, keeping them company.
Meanwhile,
I took the kids out into the courtyard. Firecrackers were prohibited in the urban areas, but inside a private villa on Dongpo Island, playing with small firecrackers was perfectly fine. In my opinion, what kind of new year is it without setting off firecrackers? Although I would not go set off those massive fireworks shells. Otherwise, the police would definitely come knocking on my door. Letting the kids play around with firecrackers meant for children was still not an issue, especially those sparklers that did not explode and did not make loud noises, which were just a piece of iron wire coated with special gunpowder and emitted beautiful sparks when lit. Under the night sky, each of the 3 babies held a sparkler in their hand. After I carefully lit them for them, the babies looked in amazement at the blooming sparks in their hands. Babies? Look here, wave your hands like daddy. I lit one for myself as well, and gently waved my arm. The little ones eagerly followed suit. Instantly, the courtyard was filled with childish joy. At this moment, Tang Yuxin walked out and wrapped a scarf around my neck. It is so cold during New Year's, and you are not even keeping warm.
I am fine.
I naturally pulled Tang Yuxin into a hug. At this time, First Treasure looked up.
Bah.
What is
New Year?
My dad,
Who had just walked out to watch the kids play, heard this, chuckled happily,
walked over,
and crouched down in front of First Treasure.
First Treasure.
the new year is
A day when Daddy,
Mama, Mommy,
Grandpa,
Grandma, Grandpa maternal,
Grandma maternal,
and the babies. When everyone plays together, First Treasure seemed to understand yet not, and looked down again at the sparkler in his hand. After the gunpowder burned out, the sparks extinguished, all gone. I walked over, gave the 3 kids another sparkler each, and helped them light them again. Does First Treasure like the new year? First Treasure nodded very seriously.
Yike.
First Treasure once.
Play with Baba.
Mama.
Ye.
Nai.
Lao ye.
And Lao.
second Treasure?
second Treasure 2.
Baba.
Me too? The 3 little ones chimed in unison. Watching this heartwarming scene, Tang Yuxin felt a warm glow in her heart. This must be the joy of having babies. Right after waking up on the first day of the new year, I heard the system's notification sound. Ding! Congratulations to the host for achieving first time taking babies to play with fireworks.
Reward obtained.
22% equity in SpaceX Group. The system specifically noted, since First Treasure has a dream of flying to space, how could a father who wants to fulfill it for him not have a hand in the world's largest private aerospace group? So, the fact that First Treasure has a dream of flying to space has already been officially confirmed by the system. At this moment,
my phone rang.
I took it out to look and found it was actually an unknown number, and it was from overseas. Hello. Xiao. My best friend, I have received your capital injection. Thank you for the help you have provided to realize my dream of immigrating to Mars. I raised an eyebrow. Immigrating to Mars?
Huh.
It is Musk, immediately said in fluent English. No. Need to thank me. I also got what I wanted.
Haha.
SpaceX will absolutely not disappoint you, my friend. But right now, you are, besides me, the second largest shareholder. I have decided that to celebrate this, we will launch a rocket named after you. Xiao.
What do you think?
Hearing this, was immediately intrigued. That is a good proposal. But as for naming it, how about naming it after my son? Your baby.
Xiao.
I recall your baby just turned 1 year old. Right. I have not had the chance to send a gift yet. Since that is the case, how about using the naming rights for this rocket as a gift? Throughout this whole exchange, I had not paid a single cent, but I did not care. Anyway, all these things were provided by the system. Great idea. Mr. Musk. Just call me Musk.
Xiao.
We have known each other for years.
Have not we? You are always so polite.
Xiao. The rocket is launching in half a month. I hope you can bring your family to the site. What kind of memories did this weird system implant into that guy Musk? How did I end up having known him for years? Of course I will be there. I am very interested in this. Besides, taking Tang Yuxin and the babies abroad for a trip sounds pretty good too. And we can catch a rocket launch while we are at it. My gaze fell on First Treasure in the bedroom.
Little guy,
Your dream of flying to space. Daddy will absolutely help you fulfill it, even though you yourself probably don't not even understand this dream of yours right now. If through telepathy. When I looked over, First Treasure also lifted his head.
Baba?
The little guy gave me a huge, beaming smile. The first few days of the year were spent visiting various relatives and friends. On the 5th day of the Lunar New Year, suddenly said at the dinner table, Dad, Mom, let us take a trip to the US in a few days. Everyone who was eating looked over.
Hubby.
Why are we going there out of nowhere? I placed a piece of beef into Tang Yuxin's bowl and said, it is nothing much. It is just that a rocket named after the babies
is going to be launched there.
Let us go watch it. Soon as these words were spoken, an eerie silence fell over the entire dining table. After a long while, my dad finally asked,
Kiddo,
are you joking?
I am not. You guys know about Musk's SpaceX, right? My mom and mother-in-law did not know, but my dad and father-in-law had heard of it. As for Tang Yuxin, she naturally knew. I have roughly a 22% stake in SpaceX. I injected capital a while ago. Now, besides Musk, I am the largest shareholder. It is also because of this reason that this rocket is being named after the babies. Originally, Musk said he would use my name. I thought about it and declined. Tang Yuxin reached out and felt my forehead, looking at me with a face full of worry. Hubby? Are you feeling okay? I do not have a fever. Amusedly swatted Tang Yuxin's hand away. I said, remember Bide? Everyone nodded. The fact that I bought shares in Bide was known by the parents on both sides after Tang Yuxin found out. Back when they learned I was a heavyweight figure at BID, the 4 elders completely refused to believe it at first. Recently, BID acquired a brand new battery technology. As a result, after the news was announced, Bide's stock surged. Meanwhile, Tesla, which also makes electric cars, saw its stock price plummet heavily. It was precisely because of this that Musk ran into funding problems recently. I also took this opportunity to buy in. Otherwise, would not have been that easy. Among the things mentioned above, apart from my reason for buying shares, everything else was a fact. Even so, Tesla's drop would not affect SpaceX. They say this company is valued at over $40 billion US. Hubby, you have 22%. As she calculated, Tang Yuxin's eyes practically turned into dollar signs. I looked at this girl and chuckled playfully. Stop calculating. It is roughly around $8 billion US. Clatter. My mother-in-law's chopsticks dropped to the floor. Was her son-in-law really this incredible? She had always known I was amazing, being a shareholder in several very famous large groups. Although I did not have absolute controlling stakes, the shares I held were considered highly influential on their boards of directors. But my mother-in-law never imagined that I would be this wealthy. Her mouth felt dry and her tongue parched. In her impression, my assets would be, at most, few hundred million RMB. Right. And now, out pops over $8 billion US. I smiled and looked at the family members.
Well, should we all go together?
Everyone looked at each other in dismay.
Finally,
the 4 elders waved their hands. We will pass. We do not understand foreign languages. If we go, we won't be used to the food or the lodging.
You young people go ahead.
Tang Yuxin and I tried to persuade them a bit more, but still did not succeed. So we did not insist. After learning about this, Tang Yuxin had been acting incredibly excited the whole time. Fortunately, Tang Yuxin was not someone who liked to show off, even though she could now buy various luxury goods as casually as buying daily necessities. She rarely made any exorbitant purchases. On that supplementary card I gave her, the total amount spent up to now had not even reached $1 million, and the bulk of that was spent during our last beach trip, when she bought watches for us. Tang Yuxin pinched First Treasure's cheek. First Treasure, Mommy and Daddy are taking you to see a rocket. It's not that great. First Treasure looked a bit confused, but because he often watched documentaries about it, even though he was only just over a year old, he vaguely knew what a rocket was. In First Treasure's mind, it was a kind of thing that could fly really high. The little guy's eyes instantly lit up. After lunch, my dad suddenly asked me, Son, exactly how much money do you have right now? Calculate it for me so I can mentally prepare myself. My dad's words met with the family's unanimous agreement. Evan Tang Yuxin really wanted to know just how wealthy this almost omnipotent husband of hers, of course, except for not knowing how to swim, actually was right now. I do not really know either. How about we calculate it now?
So, I started calculating.
I have 1% of preferred stock in JP Morgan Chase.
That is about $2 billion US, which is 13 billion RMB. Hearing this, my dad's breathing instantly stalled. In his heart, he went, Good grief. I have 63% in Shang-Chi Entertainment. That is roughly 9 billion. I have 12% in Walt Disney. That is around 12 billion. Cough. 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 My father-in-law started coughing violently. I have 22% in bid. That is 140 billion. Then, One Shang Group is also roughly around 4 billion. Hearing this, my mom's eyebrow twitched wildly.
Is this really my son?
And finally, there is SpaceX. Like I said earlier, it is almost 8 billion US dollars, which is 51.7 billion RMB. Calculating it this way, Tang Yuxin clutched her chest. She felt her heart beating so fast. Just now, as I was listing my assets, Tang Yuxin had taken out her phone and opened the calculator, adding them up, on by on. The total was 229.7 billion. Looking at how calm and collected I was, everyone really wanted to just grab something and smash my smug head in. And this was not even counting the houses, cars, and funds in the bank cards, nor did it include that private jet. Just these alone already amounted to over 35 billion US dollars. My mom's voice trembled. That is so much money.
Son,
are you the richest man in the world now?
How is that possible?
Mom.
I was amused.
I remember last year or the year before.
Jeff Bezos already had over 180 billion US dollars in assets. Where am I compared to that? Let alone the whole world. Even just domestically, those couple of guys surnamed Ma are way richer than me. My father-in-law took a deep breath. Even so, it is still terrifying.
Xiao Fei.
How exactly did you make all this money?
Various investments.
Just accumulated over time. My eye for investments is quite good. Yuxin should be clear on this point.
Right.
Tang Yuxin nodded her little head repeatedly. The adoring look in her eyes as she gazed at her husband was too much for the several elders to bear. Hubby is indeed super amazing at investing. No one of the stocks he bought have ever dropped, and they have all been skyrocketing.
As we chatted,
Everyone's attention fell back on the three babies.
Huh?
I just realized, Tang Yuxin blurted out of nowhere. These three little ones are the heirs to over 200 billion in assets. Hubby, in the future, will the three babies start a war for succession to fight over the family fortune? I tapped Tang Yuxin on the head. Wife, what nonsense are you thinking about? With this much in assets, even if we split it equally among the babies, they would not be able to spend it all. After learning that I actually possessed over 200 billion in assets, the whole family felt like they were floating when they walked. It was as if they were stepping on soft,
fluffy cotton candy.
That night, I looked at Tang Yuxin, who was still dizzy from it all, and amusingly pinched her cheek.
Wife.
What are you thinking about? Stop messing around. Hubby. Tang Yuxin pouted, sitting on the bed with her back against the headboard. She hugged her little quilt tightly. Hubby. Do you really have that much money? Of course. Do you still not believe your husband? It feels too unreal. Tang Yuxin murmured, her eyes unfocused. I married a billionaire. Tang Yuxin suddenly felt a wave of fear. She was nothing more than a university teacher. If she had any halos, would be her high academic qualifications and high attractiveness. But these two things, forget about the whole world. Just in Shanghai alone, you could pick out quite a few women who possessed both of these halos. I naturally saw through her anxiety. Sitting down beside Tang Yuxin, I pulled her tightly into my arms. If you are feeling insecure, how about this?
I will transfer all of this under your name.
No.
No.
No. Absolutely not. Tang Yuxin was startled and hurriedly shook her head frantically. Her long hair whipped smack.
Smack.
Smack against my face. If you do not want the property.
Fiend.
But do not hit me with your hair. Hubby. I did not mean to. Tang Yuxin leaned in to comfort me. Hubby, will you always love me? He instantly laughed. If other women suddenly found out their husband was rich, they would be overjoyed.
Why are you getting scared instead?
Because it is just too much money. Tang Yuxin also felt it was incredible. Then she thought about it. She herself was also a billionaire now. After the new year, school reopened and I returned home. I had finally reached my final semester as a senior. Once this semester ends, me university days will be officially over. What was once a peaceful campus suddenly became a whirlwind of excitement, all because of my graduate entrance exam results. While Tang Yuxin was busy grading assignments, Jiang Yu suddenly burst into the office like a gust of wind. Yuxin!
Quick!
Hurry up!
What is wrong?
Tang Yuxin lifted her head, looking at the girl with an amused expression. The graduate exam results are out. I remember your husband took the exam last year. Did not he? Are not you going to check his score? Tang Yuxin froze for a second, then suddenly snapped into action. In a frantic rush, she cleared everything off her desk and immediately powered on her computer. The other teachers in the office quickly gathered around as well. Regarding Tang Yuxin's husband Mi, her colleagues in the office had an incredibly deep impression. Since hearing from Tang Yuxin last year that I was switching majors to apply for the physics department, they had been closely following the situation, partly because I was Yuxin's husband, and partly because my previous grades were outstanding. Even so, they did not have much confidence in me, after all. At most, only had about 2 months of self-study time, with everyone crowding around her. Tang Yuxin opened the results portal. She skillfully entered my admission ticket number. Then, she did not click search immediately. Instead, she turned to glare at the massive crowd behind her.
What are you all doing?
Just curious, Yuxin.
Let us see too?
Yuan Tong said with a cheerful grin. Tang Yuxin felt a wave of anxiety. She naturally had faith in me, but the study time was so short, and it was a different major. Checking the score in front of so many colleagues. If the results were bad, would not it be incredibly embarrassing? Taking a deep breath, Tang Yuxin's hand trembled as she moved the mouse and clicked the search button. The screen froze instantly.
Obviously,
the traffic was heavy with everyone checking at once. After a long wait, the results page finally began to refresh bit by bit. Tang Yuxin suddenly grabbed a notebook to block the screen. Hey!
What are you doing?
Zhang Yu looked at her with a face full of confusion. I am nervous. Tang Yuxin muttered crossly. Then, she slowly slid the notebook down. The name appeared. It was mine. No doubt, all the personal details were correct. Next came the scores. The notebook moved down further. Politics. 97 out of 100.
My God?
97 in politics. A male teacher let out a low gasp. Most applicants score between 60 and 70 in politics. Those hitting the 90s are as rare as phoenix feathers. You could count them on own hand nationwide. Next was English. 100 out of 100, a perfect score. This score was also remarkably high, but it did not shock them quite as much. After all, my English proficiency had been clear to many at Tang Yuxin's birthday party when they heard me conversing with Adam Levine. Still, it was an incredible achievement. Mathematics. 150 out of 150, another perfect score. This has to be fake.
150.
A math teacher in the room slapped his own forehead in disbelief. A perfect score on the graduate math exam. I recall that last year at our university, anything over 80 in math was enough to pass. With this score, the math department will be fighting to recruit him. Wait.
Professor Tang,
Which major did your husband apply for again?
the physics department.
Tang Yuxin's face was flushed with excitement. She moved the notebook down to the professional course. 143. Tang Yuxin could not help but let out a scream. But at this point, No An noticed, because nearly every teacher in the office was screaming too.
As university faculty,
They knew exactly what these scores meant.
for physics.
I remember this year, anything over 380 was a guaranteed interview. A male teacher staggered slightly. In all his years of teaching, he had never seen such a terrifying score. Scoring over 400 is considered elite nationwide. A score like this is practically legendary. After only 2 months of self-study, Hai had scored a total of 490 in a different major. Everyone could already predict that the white-haired professors in the physics department were going to go absolutely crazy. Hai had put the exam out of my mind since finishing it last year. In fact, the moment I walked out of the exam hall, I already had a rough estimate of my score.
So,
I had not been paying much attention to the announcement. During these days, I was at home working hard on my baby education plan. Counting the time, the babies were already over a year and several months old, largely due to the Guardian Angel body wash. Their physical development was ahead of schedule. They looked like 1.5-year-old toddlers, while their intelligence was comparable to 5 or 6-year-olds. The 3 little ones sat side by side on the padded floor. A small low table was placed in front of each of them. On their little tables lay brand new workbooks. I sat in front of them,
Holding a writing tablet?
I wrote down the Chinese pinyin on the board. Come on, babies. Repeat after daddy. The 3 little ones obediently opened their mouths and made the sound perfectly.
Very good. This pinyin is a...
And this is how you write it?
first,
Draw a semicircle. And then do this. I set the writing board aside and carefully observed the children. Second treasure. That is not how you hold a pen. Do it like this. Look at how daddy holds it. Third treasure. Do not grip the pen too hard. First treasure is so amazing. You got it right on the first try. Once I confirmed all 3 had mastered the first character, I continued with the lesson. Shortly after, my phone suddenly rang. I saw it was Tang Yuxin calling. I stepped out and answered.
hello,
Honey,
Hubby. The exam results are out.
You are so incredible.
Do you have any idea what you scored? The professors in the physics department are all in an uproar. Tang Yuxian's ecstatic voice echoed through the speaker. I had to hold the phone a bit further away from my ear. Then I laughed and said, "Calm down. Honey.
I already know.
It is such a high score.
Hubby,
you are so amazing. How did you even manage to score that high?" Tang Yuxian was clearly too excited to stop. It was understandable. She was a teacher herself. A teacher's excitement when a student achieves such a stunning result.
Us only natural.
But our relationship was far more special.
I was her man.
The father of her children. This filled Tang Yuxian with an uncontrollable sense of pride.
It was even greater than the pride she felt.
Knowing I was worth hundreds of billions. This was the influence of Owen's personal values.
To Tang Yuxian.
Owen's ability and knowledge were far more important than wealth. After a long while, she finally calmed down a bit. "Hubby, what are you doing right now?" I smiled and replied, "Teaching the babies pinyin." "Learning pinyin this early. How are they okay with it?" "You are underestimating our kids. They learn very fast. I estimate they will master pinyin in a few days, and then I can start teaching them simple characters." The babies could only speak for now, but they did not recognize a single written word yet. When I was a child, I was barely a year and a half old when my mother started teaching me pinyin and simple characters at home. We were quite poor back then. Mom only had a primary school education.
What she could teach me was extremely limited.
But she still worked hard to teach me everything she knew. And now, it was my turn to use the same method to teach my own children. The only difference was that our family's conditions and resources were much better. Tang Yuxian listened, her eyes growing soft. She wished she could come home immediately to join me in teaching our children. When I returned from my call, first treasure and third treasure excitedly held up their workbooks.
Baba.
Look. They were showing off the pinyin they had just written. I praised them. Then looked at second treasure and started laughing.
The moment I was away,
this little girl started doodling all over her workbook.
Second treasure.
Did not Daddy get you a special sketchbook for drawing?
You can't scribble in your workbook.
Okay, I frowned and spoke in a gentle, instructive tone, putting on a serious face, just to bluff the little Owen, so she would develop good study habits. Second treasure looked a bit shy. She picked up an eraser and tried to rub out her drawings, but she accidentally used too much force and tore the page of her workbook. Second treasure froze, feeling incredibly wronged. Her little mouth pouted, and she looked ready to burst into tears. I quickly comforted her. "It is okay. Second treasure, just remember for next time, do not draw in your workbook anymore."
All right.
I know.
Baba.
Seeing that Daddy was not angry, second treasure finally cheered up again. The scene before me made me feel as if I were seeing myself 20 years ago, in that tiny little room, being taught by my mother. Suddenly, I felt like I could truly understand the pride and joy my mother,
Wang Fang,
felt every time I learned something new back then.
As expected,
my preliminary graduate exam results caused a massive sensation. On the Shanghai Jiao Tong University campus forum, the news that someone at Jiao Tong had achieved an unprecedented score of 490 quickly spread to other universities. Even some media outlets began reporting on it. When Tang Yuxian came home that evening, she fluttered toward me like a butterfly moving through flowers. Hubby, let us go out and eat to celebrate today."
Sure.
Seeing her in such high spirits, I was more than happy to accompany her. But we need to pick a good spot, since we are bringing the babies. In the end, Tang Yuxian picked a very ordinary BBQ restaurant. It was not a high-end venue at all.
She had no interest in places
that required formal attire just to enter. Time soon moved into March, and it was time for the master's degree recruitment interviews. The interview process was effortless for me, and the results were exactly as I anticipated. My interview performance was also quite stunning. From there, it was just a matter of waiting for the background checks and file transfers. Tang Yuxian helped me analyze the choice of a supervisor. I recommend Professor Lin. The workload under him is much lighter, and his main focus is astrophysics and aerospace physics. I looked at Tang Yuxian and smiled. "Then it is him." Tang Yuxian looked surprised. "Wait. Hubby.
Our heir, not you going to think about it.
You have already thought it through for me.
So what is there to consider?
I pulled her into my arms.
I trust you.
Tang Yuxian smiled happily. The feeling of being trusted wholeheartedly by me was simply wonderful.
As university graduation approached,
I had to start considering another extremely important matter. In other words, my wedding with Tang Yuxian had to be put on the immediate agenda. Friends and relatives from both sides definitely needed to be invited. After deciding on these matters, all that remained was the specific flow of the wedding. First, I ruled out the cliché.
Run-of-the-mill.
Western-style weddings that lacked any novelty. With Western-style weddings out, the remaining choice was naturally a Chinese-style own. Since I decided on a Chinese wedding, I simply gritted my teeth and resolved to follow the most traditional path, going through every single ritual, the 3 proposals and 6 rites of the Zhou dynasty. Every step followed in the strictest, most traditional manner, though the costs would be staggering. I did not care. The expense was one thing, but the sheer complexity of the process was another. After looking into the details, realized this was no longer something I could handle alone. I needed a professional team. And no, not the coffin dance kind. So I went straight to a well-known event planning agency. Upon hearing I wanted the traditional Zhou dynasty rites, the planning team was instantly electrified. This was undoubtedly a massive contract. Then I called my family to inform them, learning that I had started wedding preparations. Both my parents and my in-laws were exceptionally delighted.
Xiao Fei.
About that 3 proposals and 6 rights thing, we do not really understand any of that nowadays. My dad sounded a bit troubled over the phone. It is okay, Dad.
I have hired the most professional planning team.
You only need to follow their lead when the time comes. They will head to Sichuan Chongqing in a few days to perform the pre-wedding rituals first. The main wedding ceremony will take place here in Shanghai. Just so happens I have 2 properties here. Hearing that I had everything planned out perfectly, the elders on both sides finally felt at ease. Then, keeping it a secret from Tang Yushin, we began the intense preparations, notifying relatives and friends on both sides, and coordinating with the team sent from Shanghai. The betrothal gifts from the Xiao family, or rather, from me, truly gave my in-laws a massive shock. A luxury mansion in Sichuan Chongqing, 2 commercial shops, a car, and countless pieces of jewelry and fine ornaments. The total value eventually exceeded 30 million yuan. When the final value of the gifts was tallied, my father-in-law and mother-in-law stared at each other in silence. They had originally planned that once I presented the gifts, they would provide a dowry of equal value. Sichuan province views the bride price quite casually. If the groom gives a gift, the bride's side usually provides a dowry, unlike some regions where news of sky-high bride prices without any dowry often breaks out. Sky-high prices are one thing if the groom's family is wealthy. It does not really matter then. But in some areas, these exorbitant prices burden ordinary people, which is hard to fathom. Duplicate line intent removed for flow. Me in-laws originally assumed that I would follow local Sichuan customs, giving a few tens of thousands, which would have been enough. They would have then given an equal or even larger dowry. But now, looking at a 30 million yuan betrothal gift, how could the Tang family possibly match it? Should we
return it?
The mother-in-law asked tentatively. My father-in-law waved his hand. The betrothal gifts have already been presented. How would it look if we returned them now? Let us just proceed with our original plan?
We will do what we can within our means.
Xiao Fei is a good boy.
We have seen that over time, he won't look down on Yuxin over something like this, combined with above for smoother SRT pacing. And so, the Nazheng betrothal ritual was completed, marking the end of the pre-wedding rites. At this point, Tang Yuxin was still completely in the dark. She continued going to work happily every day, and returning home with a smile, having seemingly forgotten all about the wedding herself, living her days in peace and joy. On a particular day, she suddenly received a call from Wang Lu.
What?
You have come to Shanghai.
Yup.
Wang Lu's voice sounded full of excitement over the phone. Not just me. Zhang Tiantian is here too.
We came specifically to hang out with you.
As they said this, Wang Lu and Zhang Tiantian exchanged a glance, both seeing the mischief in each other's eyes. They were not just here to hang out with Tang Yushin. They were here for the wedding, as I had notified them. But since I wanted to give Tang Yuxin a surprise, the secret had to be kept until the end.
Yuxin.
Where are you? Tang Yuxin did not overthink it.
I am still at the university.
I have not finished work yet.
I see.
We will come find you in a bit.
Let us all have dinner together tonight. After hanging up, Tang Yuxin called me to explain the situation. Knowing the truth all along, even knowing what Wang Lu and Zhang Tiantian were about to do, I naturally had no reason to say no. I even gave a mysterious smile. Have a great time. After work, Wang Lu and Zhang Tiantian indeed showed up at the university to find Tang Yuxin.
Yuxin.
It has been a while. You have gotten even prettier. The moment they met, Wang Lu gave Tang Yuxin an enthusiastically warm hug. This naturally drew quite a lot of attention from those around them, especially since Tang Yuxin was so famous on campus.
A bit shy.
Tang Yuxin broke free from the hug and said, "All right. Enough with the touching." Zhang Tiantian chimed in teasingly.
Ooh.
Are you only allowing your husband to hug you now?
Of course.
Tang Yuxian lifted her head proudly, like a graceful white swan. Then Zhang Tiantian said,
Yuxin,
Wang Lu and I plan to stay for a few days this time. You are in charge of our food and lodging.
No problem.
Tang Yuxin patted her chest. Xiao Fei and I have another apartment in Shanghai. You guys can just stay there. There is no need for a hotel. This girl is way too easy to lure in. Zhang Tiantian thought to herself with a secret smile. Zhang Tiantian took the chance. Yuxin, since we are all together, why do not you stay over tonight too? Let us have a girls' slumber party at your other place.
Huh.
Tang Yuxian froze, looking hesitant. After all, her husband and babies were at home.
What is wrong?
Can't you sleep without your husband by your side for even on night? Combined with above for timing. Hearing Wang Lu say that, Tang Yuxian immediately huffed.
Of course I can.
It just shows how great our relationship is. It really is great. Otherwise, your husband would not have worked so hard to have us give you a surprise. Wang Lu and Zhang Tiantian exchanged a look. After a long pause, Tang Yuxian finally said hesitantly,
Then?
I need to call my husband.
Fine. Fine.
Just be quick about it. It is rare for us sisters to be together.
We must celebrate.
Combined with above, over the phone, I deliberately used a reluctant tone, while also telling Tang Yuxin to stay safe, and to call me immediately if anything happened. Having finished the discussion, Tang Yuxin did not suspect a thing. She waved her phone triumphantly.
All right.
Are you two happy now? Since being with Xiao Fei, this is the first time I have stayed out and not gone home.
What do you mean out?
Not that still your home.
Are you silly? Wang Lu gave Tang Yuxian an exasperated look.
Meanwhile,
Friends and family from the Xiao and Tang households had already been flown into Shanghai by me on a private jet. Upon landing, the relatives were all settled into hotels I had arranged, but my parents and close elders went straight to my villa. When they arrived at the destination, the planning team and property staff were working overtime to decorate the entire villa. All sorts of auspicious bright red decorations were being hung high up. Stepping into my home, the Xiao family members visiting for the first time were stunned. Even my mom and dad could not stop marveling. Night fell quickly. In the large flat at Jinyu Huafu, the three girls Tang Yuxin,
Wang Lu,
and Zhang Tiantian were laughing and playing together in a heap. Wang Lu and Zhang Tiantian were intentionally pouring Yuxin drinks. They knew their limits, just hoping she would drink enough to sleep soundly and not be woken up by any noise later. Combined with above for flow, Tang Yuxian did not think twice. She dizzily drank quite a bit. When 11:00 p.m. rolled around, Tang Yuxin could not stay awake and went to the master bedroom. Without me by her side, Tang Yuxin was extremely uncomfortable. Several times she subconsciously reached out to hug me, only to grasp at thin air. Suddenly, Tang Yuxin felt a wave of sadness. Her husband was not there, and the babies were not there either. The bedroom was magnificent, but so quiet that aside from her own breathing, there was not a single sound. Tang Yuxin tossed and turned, found a bolster, and hugged it tight. After a while, she threw the bolster aside again. Compared to hubby, hugging this bolster is not comfortable at all. I should not have agreed to stay with those two girls. I wonder what hubby is doing, or if he is asleep. Tang Yuxin pulled out her phone. After thinking for a long while, she finally sent me a text.
Hubby, are you asleep yet?
Very quickly,
I replied.
Not yet. Seeing this, Tang Yuxin immediately called. The moment my voice came through the line, Tang Yuxin started whined cutely. Hubby, I really want to come back and be with you. What is wrong? Are not you having fun with your friends? Everyone is asleep now. I can't really sleep without you here. Tang Yuxin kept tossing and turning, eventually just wrapping herself in the duvet.
I thought for a bit.
How about I tell you a story? Do you think I am a baby? Telling a story just to go to sleep. Tang Yuxin did not know whether to laugh or cry, but then she giggled while covering her mouth. But you said it, so I want to hear Owen.
All right.
My deep voice began to resonate. They were fairy tales she had heard long ago, but told by me. Tang Yuxin listened with absolute focus. There was not a hint of impatience. She even cooperatively asked all sorts of childish questions. She even started imagining in her mind that I was right there next to her, whispering the fairy tales softly into her ear.
Thinking of my deep,
soulful eyes,
while listening to the sound of my voice. Gradually, Tang Yuxin's breathing leveled out. Her eyelids grew heavy, and she finally fell asleep. Outside the bedroom door, Zhang Tiantian sat on the sofa, looking at Wang Lu with a done-with-life expression. How can this girl be such a handful? Wang Lu shrugged helplessly. How should I know? But the others should be arriving soon.
Right.
They are here. They are here. Zhang Tiantian shook her head and stood up.
Moments later,
She opened the front door, and a large group of people tiptoed inside. Her in-laws were there, along with Su Qingyan. Everyone cautiously introduced themselves to one another, then immediately began the frantic task of decorating. Everything was set for the next day, to give Tang Yuxin an unprecedented surprise. The next day, Tang Yuxin woke up in a daze, and then something totally unexpected happened. Congratulations to the host for planning a secret wedding for his fiancée. Reward. The DeepSeek LM has been integrated into the host's brain. Just now, Tang Yuxin heard a knock on the door just as she woke up. Dazedly, she walked to the door and opened it.
What is wrong with you two?
Knocking so early in the moment the door opened, Tang Yuxin saw her mother-in-law smiling right at her. Mom? Tang Yuxin froze for a moment. I must have opened the door the wrong way, with a asterisk bang asterisk. Tang Yuxin shut the door. The people outside were instantly dumbfounded. Who knew this girl had such an adorable side?
A moment later,
Tang Yuxin opened the door again. Her mother-in-law immediately stepped forward with a stern face to block the door.
You little brat.
How dare you shut the door on me? What is the meaning of this? Mom?
Wait. Tian.
And Yanyan. And, before her stood a massive crowd of people, aside from her mother-in-law. They were all Tang Yuxin's friends.
Enough talk.
Everyone, grab her. At Su Qingyan's command, several young girls surged forward with laughter, hoisting Tang Yuxin up and carrying her into the room.
Wait. What are you doing?
What on earth is going on?
Tang Yuxin was completely shocked. Dressing the bride?
Of course.
Su Qingyan wiggled her fingers like a big bad wolf and gave a mischievous grin. The bride.
What bride?
Tang Yuxin was utterly bewildered, her brain failing to process the situation.
What do you mean, what bride?
Zhang Tiantian hugged Tang Yuxin from behind. The bride for your darling handsome Xiao. Obviously, Lulu and I did not travel all this way for nothing. Only then did Tang Yuxin realize exactly what was happening. So, this was all her husband's idea, and he did not even give her a heads up. You really are a lucky own. Enough to make every woman jealous.
Wang Lu teased.
Handsome Xiao kept the wedding a secret while preparing everything. Now that everything is ready, he is just waiting for us to deliver you to him. A wedding gown had already been laid out on the bed, and intricate. Traditional gown, completely impossible to put on for someone who had never seen own before. Fortunately, the wedding planning company had already sent specialized female assistants, who began methodically helping Tang Yuxin into the elaborate attire. Tisk, tisk.
This outfit.
I suspect tonight your husband will either need a pair of scissors, or just use brute force to get this off you. Taking this off normally seems practically impossible. The moment Su Qingyan finished speaking, Tang Yuxin, who was letting them dress her, blushed furiously. It is quite all right. The girl helping Tang Yuxin dress smiled with pursed lips, her eyes full of envy as she looked at Yuxin. Mr. Xiao has already purchased this gown outright. You can handle it however you wish. While Tang Yuxin was being prepared, over at my villa, a large crowd stood at the entrance. Yu Gaoshan announced loudly. Prepare for the bridal procession. Commence the jiazi rite. My father raised his wine cup, looking at me with a proud smile. I took a step forward, bowed 3 times. And accepted the wine bestowed by my father. After draining the cup in on go, I bowed to my father 3 more times. Only then did Yu Gaoshan shout, "Go forth to fetch the bride." The grand bridal procession set off, and Rolls-Royces led the way, followed by a fleet of luxury cars. As this massive convoy appeared on the streets, it instantly captured the gaze of every passerby. Many people pulled out their phones immediately and began taking photos frantically. So many luxury cars. Heavens! This bride is so lucky. Rich people are not stupid. The bride must be incredibly beautiful. Just wait and see for yourselves in a bit. Before long, news started popping up online. Top-tier bridal convoy spotted in Shanghai. Which lucky lady is marrying into such wealth? Inside the master bedroom at Jinyu Hafu. Phew. Finally finished. Tossing aside the last eyebrow pencil, the makeup artist let out a sigh of relief. She had never done such a difficult makeup job in her life. It was not that Tang Yuxin was hard to work with. On the contrary, Tang Yuxin was *2 beautiful. Before today, the makeup artist never believed that a woman could be so naturally stunning in the world. She literally did not know where to start, but the ritual required her to apply makeup regardless. At this point, makeup was not about making Tang Yuxin look better, but about the sanctity of the ceremony. Miss Tang, I have never been this conflicted. Usually, I try to make clients look better, but with you, I had to rack my brain just to make sure I did not accidentally make you look worse. When she first saw Tang Yuxin, she actually thought she was looking at someone who had spent a fortune on the world's top plastic surgeons. How else could a woman look this perfect? But once she actually started applying the products, her years of experience told her, with just a single touch, that Yuxin had never had any work done. The mother-in-law looked at her perfectly dressed daughter, her eyes filled with pride. Her girl was undoubtedly the most beautiful woman in the world.
All right.
Miss Tang, from now on, you must sit on the bed until the groom arrives to carry you away. Your feet must not touch the floor.
No way.
No way.
Yuxin.
You are so gorgeous. It is too easy for Xiao Fei to just marry you like this. Su Qingyan suddenly chimed in. When Xiao Fei arrives, we have to make things difficult for him.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. Forget red envelopes.
That is too tacky.
We need to play something more sophisticated. To match the atmosphere of this traditional wedding, that is the spirit. The group of girls immediately started cheering, brainstorming ways to challenge me. Little did they know, Tang Yuxin, sitting on the bed, immediately narrowed her eyes as her dominant aura flared up.
Stop it. I am warning you.
If anyone dares to trouble my husband,
Why?
will be the first one to deal with them. All of you.
Listen up.
When he arrives, let him through immediately. No funny business allowed. Zhang Tiantian arched an eyebrow.
Hemph.
It is not like we won't let him in.
It just should not be this asterisk easy.
We won't be too mean. How about this? Is not handsome Xiao supposed to be brilliantly poetic and a master of musical arts?
We will ask all sorts of questions.
And make him answer without speaking. How about that? Answer without speaking. How? Someone immediately raised the question. Can't he play the zither? He is a master of traditional music that even experts praise. This should be a piece of cake for him. Right. The girls began discussing animatedly and soon reached a consensus. Tang Yuxin could not stop them from her spot on the bed. She could only glare at them crossly. Her mother laughed heartily, sitting by the bed and patting Tang Yuxin's hand. Look at you, acting like you are desperate to marry.
Are you afraid? Xiao Fei will change his mind if we tease him?
Mom, it is not that. Tang Yuxin protested immediately. I just do not want Xiao Fei to be put on the spot. While the ladies were all inside, Tang Yuxin's male relatives and friends were already waiting at the entrance of Jinyu Hafu. Before long, the grand convoy appeared. Seeing the 10 Rolls Royces leading the pack from a distance, even the relatives who had flown in on my private jet, knowing I was wealthy, were still stunned by the sight. Combined with above for flow, besides the convoy itself, many curious onlookers followed along, filming the entire way with their phones. They all wanted to see what kind of person was fetching a bride with such a luxurious fleet. Even some streamers who happened upon the scene simply started live streaming the event outdoors. The stream instantly attracted a massive audience. Finally, the convoy arrived at Jinyu Huafu, and I stepped out, dressed in full traditional regalia. My appearance caused everyone who saw me to gasp in admiration. Like a noble young lord, stepping straight out of a traditional inkwash painting, with my sharp features and bright eyes, he instantly made the surrounding girls scream with excitement, carrying a wild goose prepared by the planning company. I handed it to my father-in-law and said with a smile, "Father-in-law, please accept your son-in-law's bow."
Rise?
Rise. Please. Get up. My father-in-law was grinning from ear to ear, amidst the envious gazes of the crowd. He helped me up. Let us head inside. Yuxin should be ready.
Let us go. Let us go.
Beaming with joy, I followed my father-in-law and led the procession into the house. Before entering the door,
I suddenly stopped.
Brothers, the rest is up to you. My best men Zhang Bo,
Wu Zitao,
and Lu Chao immediately stepped up. Zhang Bo even rolled up his sleeves. Do not worry, Brother Xiao, it is just the Xiaowei Sticks challenge. Right. The door opened, and the 3 best men marched in resolutely. If heading to a battlefield. Immediately, the girls waiting inside, each holding a Xiaowei stick wrapped in red ribbons, tapped the 3 best men lightly. The best men, who thought they were in for a beating, sighed in relief when they realized the girls were being very gentle with their strikes.
Ooh.
Look who is here.
Or groom.
Su Qingyan, who had established herself as the leader among the girls, waved her hand, combined with above. The moment she made the gesture, the girls stopped immediately. Su Qingyan looked at me with a smile, a flash of amazement in her eyes. Today, Xiao Fei was truly eye-catching. Tisk, tisk. Look at you all dressed up. You must have attracted quite a few girls on the way here.
Have not you?
I raised an eyebrow.
Let them look.
I am not interested.
Where's Yuxin?
Hand her over. It is not that easy. Su Qingyan intentionally circled around. If you want the bride to come out, you will need to recite a bridal makeup poem first. But let us set the rules. You can't just use a poem written by the ancients. You have to compose it yourself.
Huh.
I was stunned. I had thought of every possible way they might challenge me. But I never expected this own. Do not, us. Zhang Tiantian said coquettishly. Who told you to choose such a traditional wedding? Since you wanted it authentic, you have to go all the way.
Recite a poem.
Hearing the demand for a poem,
me, 3 roommates,
who were hired to take the Xiaowei hits, immediately shot me a helpless look. Brother Xiao, we can't help you with this own.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I do not know anything about poetry.
I only know how to say damn. The 3 guys laughingly cleared the path, leaving me standing at the front. Everyone in the house was staring at me. Even the bride's relatives who were meeting me for the first time were looking on in admiration. Handsome Xiao. Great talent, Xiao. Do not tell me you are stuck, Zhang Tiantian said with a giggle. She was only taking advantage of this special day to joke around with me like this. Usually limited by my status, while she would not try to kiss up to me, she would never be this bold. I was not annoyed. It was just a bridal makeup poem, and I could not use a classic own. I had to compose it on the spot.
Right?
But Su Qingyan would never guess that while I was planning Tang Yuxin's wedding, the system had rewarded me with the DeepSeek LMM. Right now, I was a walking DeepSeek. Writing a poem was child's play for me.
Is that so?
Su Qingyan looked at my calm demeanor, a flash of doubt crossing her eyes. Could he really compose a poem on the spot? To her surprise, I suddenly snapped my fingers. Today is the most auspicious day of my wedding. Tang Yuxin's close friends, in order to make it a challenge for me to win her hand, demanded that I compose a bridal makeup poem on the spot. I took a pen and began writing swiftly on the paper. Su Qingyan opened her mouth to speak, but finally sighed in defeat.
I am officially impressed.
Master Xiao, you even know how to compose poetry on the fly. Nearby,